girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. And the girls with their nails done. Girls with their
Green light, go, go, go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the next week of the North American Sprint Series. We are here in the beautiful country of Japan for the fourth round of North American Sprint Series. We were here earlier in the day for the European and the Asia Pacific splits. We are just getting into qualifying. Hello everybody, my name is Nick Amon, and I am joined alongside once again by Nathan Villalonga and Mr. Casey Gould. Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening? Unless I've lost them. I might have lost them. Uh-oh.
Yo, yo, yo.
There he is.
What's up, Casey? How are you?
Casey might...
How is everyone?
Casey looks to be AFK. I'm doing pretty good myself. This is the first round where I'm going to be casting and doing all of the fun stuff in the booth. So this is going to be something new for me. So please, everybody, bear with me. This is my first time doing all this.
It's gonna be exciting, man.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I think this will be a new step for me in terms of Sprint Series. I did a little bit of a warm-up, if you will, earlier in the day with European Split. I hopped in the booth with Andreas. We were very good together. I really enjoyed it. But, you know, my home is here in North America with you guys, so that's what we're here for with qualifying here at Suzuka. So, you know, looking at this track, how do we feel about it?
Honestly, it's my favorite track because the flow of the S's, the exit out of Dunlop, the scariest, the exit corners, you know, Spoon, and then Casio, and then 130R, then Casio. And the flow of it is really nice, and I just did my PB with the listen here, and yeah, it's really my favorite track.
It's nice. I agree with that. Casey, how about you? I see you've popped in here. How you doing this evening? Unless we've lost him again. Oh no. Casey, no, we need you.
I gotcha.
There he is. may have to turn my game down a little bit. Hold on, Casey. Sorry.
No worries.
All right, go for it. What you got?
Yeah, I really like Suzuka. I think Nathan was mentioning just getting the flow of this track is really fun once you get that. Did a lot of long races here originally with OOR too. I think I'm not sure if it was a 6 or 12-hour race here one time, and that was quite fun. It's a good track, so looking forward to seeing some race in action here.
I don't remember what it was, but I am certainly ready to see the OOR waltz back into the beautiful Japanese country here. So looking through the field at the moment as qualifying times do come in for this race. It's currently Dornelis on top with a 2-minute .75, and then Thomas Pierce with 2-minute 1, it looks like. So Dornelis, the first person to break into the 2 minutes, but I think it'll be a matter of time before he does break into the 1:59s. I think we saw, I want to say, 2 people in the European split that did the same thing. So it'll be interesting to see if North America can keep that pace up.
Oh, God
Come on.
Yeah. Looking like it's Anubis here in chat was supporting his friend who's in the race tonight. And it also looks, I think, that the race is at nighttime at 9 p.m. if that's correct.
I believe so.
Yeah, it says 2100 hours local time on the server in Japan there. So it will be an interesting race on tire pressures. I was just going to mention, looks like a lot of guys invalidated the first laps around the track as we're just getting times in now.
Yeah, Timothy Flomger though on top, 2-minute .555. So we're gaining ground on the that 1:59 barrier. So looking at tonight's races for at least North American Blue, who's your driver to watch, both of you?
It's a tricky one. I'm going to say Tommy Kogan. He had a good race last time out. I think he's going to capitalize on that and continue with a good result here tonight.
Well, Casey taught my favorite driver for the day, but I think my top driver for today is Friesen in the AM class, because I mean he finished top 5 last race, and that is the reason why his points skyrocketed, and he's now leading the AM class. And yeah, and his pace is good. I just hope he was able to be like to practice this track. It's really hard track to nail it, you know. So yeah.
As we say, Dornelis there tipping into the 1:59.9s here. Pretty impressive lap.
I think it's a matter of time before Ryan Yee could do the same. Looks like a 2-minute 3 for him. So very good pace. I know. I believe last week we had a back-to-back victory here. I think it was either in blue split or red split, but I know Ryan Yee put on quite the performance last week, along with Jeff Spangler, who does find himself in 9th position at the moment, still 2 minutes on the clock for qualifying, so we'll have to see how this all plays out in the closing minutes, see if anybody can move up or anybody moves down. I always forget that the start-finish line is all the way up here, as Flomger actually ties Ryan Yee with a 2-minute 3:35. So I think Yee and Flomger might be throwing hands later tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Anubis is actually friends with McIver on track. He's just wondering what we think he'll do here. I know we talked about him a few times last week. So hopefully, like many drivers, I hope they can capitalize and continue with that momentum they had from good results last week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty excited where McIver can place the Nissan. The Nissan has good pace. I think the fastest Nissan I've seen Suzuka had did a 1:59.3 from Corey Sweet. So I'm excited where he can put it around like 2-minute flat or 2-minute mid in the quali. But yeah, I'm excited also for like for Ryan Yee right now, I think he's trying to put that Ferrari on top of uh, P1 because he is now leading so much from Renato Dornelles. Oh, sorry, Jeff Spangler with 408 points, while Jeff Spangler's now 280 points. So Ryan is gonna be wanting that first place so that he can spearhead his points for the next races.
We'll just have to wait and see. It is an hour race tonight, as
Just working on the
last week it
microphone.
was.
Sorry about that, guys. A little quiet. Just trying to figure it out. But coming to the end of qualifying now. We're on board with Martinez. His rear wing, unfortunately. Sometimes the broadcast tool picked a really terrible camera angle there.
Yeah, let me fix that a little bit. I turned on the autopilot while I was trying to scope out a few things. We'll just move around. So we'll hop on board with Jerome. Oh no, not this name again. I know this one. I know this one off the top of my head. Oh God. Mai. There it is.
Mai.
Yes, I got it.
Come on, man.
Listen, okay, I have the brain capacity of like a computer from like 1960. It takes up a whole room, but I can't remember a thing. All right, leave me alone. But right now, though, we got a lot of people finishing up their final lap. We have driver 21 or 921, Dave Hasser. On an invalid lap, so unfortunately his qualifying does end here for the night, 21st position, but we still have a few drivers looking to cross the line here as we get to the end of qualifying. Dornelles, though, is on pole at the moment with a 59.67, so he has absolutely shown that he is the man to beat this evening. Quite a strong time, half a second ahead of Ryan Yee, and then 0.6 from Flomger. I mean, that's quite a dominating performance.
Yeah, especially in the Porsche as well. Looking like that's on fast track condition as well, so I feel like some of these fast guys have more pace on an optimum track.
Yeah, you're right here, Case. But I mean, again, Dornelles is now leading again in first place. With the Porsche, I've seen the Porsche be super OP here when they know how to drive the car in Suzuka. There's a lot of rotation, there's a lot of understeer on power, and just if you can mitigate it through setup or your driving style, I mean, you're gonna fly in this track.
Hi Dale, Greg, just in the chat there. Or Greg Dale, sorry. I said your name the other way around. Hello, race fans. All right, so we're getting ready to start the race here. The drivers are getting their briefing, and they will be ready to start on this formation lap.
I'm pretty excited for the start because there's a lot of Nissans here, and the Nissan just flies out of the start in this track. I mean, I gain like 2 tenths, 3 tenths out of the starts from like the next driver to me. So I'm pretty excited where all of the Nissan can put in, and also the all of the Honda drivers where they can put in before the first corner without crashing.
Yes, for sure. As we're just getting a nice view of our grid here with these beautiful liveries. The guys did a good job this year or this season of giving us a different variety of different colors here, and it's kind of nice to see. Yes, let's hope for some competitive racing here with loads of shocks, but hopefully shocks in terms of gaining cool positions and clean driving.
We'll have to see
Ask
how
this,
things play out. You know, we got hour ahead, so I think a lot of drivers are going to be looking towards maybe going on longer stints. I know in EU we had some drivers really staying out on their tires. I think this track will benefit. I would say maybe the cars that are sort of good all around. I know the Porsches are going to be probably the car to beat for the most part, although I know the Mercedes does also perform very well here, except in the the first couple of sectors where it's very technical, very twisty. But other than that, as long as you can get through the first couple of sectors and gain some sort of advantage over the fields, I think you're kind of smooth sailing, especially through that long backstretch into 130R.
I have to cut you there, man, but I mean, there's gonna be rain in 10 minutes.
Oh my god, and we've got Thomas Dag in the pits. I'm guessing he forgot to hit go at the start, unfortunately, but there you see Renato Dornelis in the Porsche, showing the German power of that ride, and right behind him Ryan Yee in his patented Ferrari, and then Flomger and Alvarado getting a little bit kissy with each other. I think I just saw, yeah, I see the windshield wiper of Flomger being turned on, so perhaps that's raining right now. Actually, the track is greasy, so looks like we're gonna have a wet race here in Suzuka.
Yeah, we're gonna have a very fun race. I mean, I'm excited where Austin Carpenter can put his Aston in this rain. I mean, he's gonna be flying in that Aston.
Yeah, it's a really good car with the rain, the traction control on that, and around Suzuka as well. So we'll be looking at him to see what he does. So it is a greasy track, light rain right now, but getting less rain conditions near the halfway point of the race. At least that's what the weather is predicting at the moment.
Yeah, I want to see torrential downpours. I want to see 60 mile an hour at the maximum racing because of all the standing water on this track. But we'll have to see how things play out. So light rain into heavy rain into even heavier rain. So I think somebody may have upset the racing gods, and they've got to get their fury out somewhere. And unfortunately, it's going to be Suzuka for these guys. You can actually sort of see the track getting nice and damp there. The safety car sort of paving a little path for everyone else, but obviously over the course of the race, rain will come down, get the track nice and wet. And you see the safety car spinning out there. That's a new one. I've never seen that. I have never seen the safety car take a spill before. That's got to be a first.
We need to clip that. Someone clip that.
Oh, but here we go. Safety car pulling away.
Someone is mentioning, thinking it might be good to start in the pits. Unfortunately, no. We have a mandatory pit stop here tonight that they have to do. So even if you start in the pit lane, unfortunately, you still have to come back in. So real no advantage there, other than if there is carnage, which we hope there isn't. But I may have cursed the group here. You know, they can avoid that.
Come on, Casey. We expect so much from you, and this is what you do to us? But here we go. It's 2x2 for the hour-long race here at Suzuka North American Blue Split, week number 4. We'll be off next week, and the week after we'll be at Zandvoort for week 5, but that doesn't matter. We're not worried about week 5. We're worried about week 4. It's Dornelis on pole, Ryan Yee joining him on the front row, Flomger, Alvarado the second row, and then Walker Pierce on that third row as they inch towards the start-finish line. One driver in the pits. And here we go, green. We've got Ryan Yee with quite a ways away from Dornelis and Flomger. And here they go into turn 1. A couple drivers getting ahead of everybody else. But now as we look towards the back of the pack, we got some 2x2 racing here going into turns 1 and 2, and then slowly into the S's here. We've got the driver in the pits starting to get out, but everybody at the moment getting through. We have one car off in the back. That's car 55. Tommy Kogan getting the short end of the stick. We have a McLaren and a Porsche off. That looks to be Dornelis falling off, getting, I don't know what happened. Maybe he got bumped off the track there, but for the most part, everybody kind of getting through in one piece. We've got some carnage in the back, though, as some drivers are getting together in places that they shouldn't be. So this start has not been the cleanest.
Yeah,
Big claim, I put my hand up. But
there you go.
Hopefully these guys can clean it up and get some clean racing in here.
Casey, you're killing me, kid. Come on.
I cursed them.
Yeah, there's Tommy Kogan way down the order. He got spun out turn 1, so he has quite a lot of work to do, but that does give Ryan Yee the lead here, the man who does benefit the most from this. You can see the gap down to Alvarado is just about 3 seconds here on my handy dandy little broadcast controller. It hasn't updated yet, but sure, once he crosses a timing line, it will update. But he does go on to the back stretch here. So this is where the prancing horse can really stretch its legs, and you're gonna see certain cars really benefiting, those with high top end. Ferrari for one, Mercedes is another, but it'll certainly be how they handle in the first two sectors. But I mean, this lap minus a couple spins has not been too bad.
Yeah, Alvarado having a great start here, jumping up to third now, and Carpenter's up there in sixth, doing pretty well. Mendina, I think it was his first season with us, and doing well up in fifth right now.
As I look at chat right now, Damien is asking, would you say the grid started on dries? I think Damien.
Yes.
I know, as we're seeing right now, quite a few guys in the pit lane who started the race on the wrong tire set, including Kenneth Forrest. Maybe they're just getting this pit stop out of the way.
This looks to... No. This is like half the grid going into the pit lane. This is... Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 of the 25 drivers are in the pit lane. So that means someone like Ryan Yee must have started on the wet tire. We can see the rain starting to pick up. The track is now wet. You can see the puddles forming in the gravel traps. So it looks like your top six may have made the right call and went onto these wet tires instead of sticking around on the slicks and praying that it takes the rain a little bit of time. But, well, you know how Mother Nature can be.
Yeah. This is unprecedented. I don't think we've seen this many guys on lap one head into the pit lane. Ryan Yee, unbelievable for this guy to get this opportunity right now. Well, all of the top five. So MacGyver, we seen him. We talked about him. Now he's all the way up to sixth. If he made the right call, it's an amazing job by him.
Yeah, I just feel like the other drivers were pitting because they wanted to get ahead of the pit stop phase, you know, because we have a mandatory pit stop here. But I mean, maybe the other driver that didn't pit is thinking about, okay, maybe we can get ahead of like the other driver that pitted, and maybe when it dries later in the race, I can put in drive and then spearhead to the finish.
I think it's gonna depend though on the weather. I mean, we are looking at increasing rain 10 and 30 minutes out, but how long is the rain gonna be around for? That's the real question, because if the rain is around for only a little bit longer after that 30-minute mark, how quickly are these drivers going to be able to change, or be able to clear the track rather? Because for them, it's more than just, you know, oh, I'm on wet, so now I'm all set for the race. It's a question of, if the rain stops and the track starts drying, should I stay on the wets or should I be moving over to slicks?
Yeah, that's correct. I think Landry there got the stop go 30. Now he's just getting a reduced pit penalty for that. Obviously, we don't like to do stop goes. It's no fun for anyone. But a few more guys into the pit. It'll be interesting to see Ryan Yee's lap times here on the top four there. If they continue to do good laps, then they're good to go. If they are on those slicks, where I highly doubt it.
Oh, there's a moment of Thomas Pierce in 130R. Wow, that was close. Okay.
Thomas Pierce, we'll find him here on the thing. I can't find him. My eyes don't work. Oh, I'm looking at him right now. Wow. All right, so I'm on top of the ball today. Don't worry, guys. I definitely woke up with my brain in my head last time I checked. Landry, though, picking up that tenner for speeding in the pit lane, so he'll have to get that sorted out as we see Alvarado going way off course. And it appears as though he may have gone to... No, not Neverland, but definitely something else. We got car 86, though. That is Jamie Mai getting spun out. We're going to rewind that 10 seconds, see what happened. Might have been a little too much. I think it looks like he might have just gotten a little loose on the entrance there to the chicane. So he'll be hurting a bit down into P22. So unfortunately, not the start he wanted, but that's what he's going to have to work with. There's still 53 minutes on the clock, so plenty of time to recover. He's getting a little bit loose there, so probably just trying to get the Aston Martin under control.
Yeah, that braking zone's tricky if you mess that up. Luckily, there's a lot of runoff, different things to do to slow the car down, and he's just gonna have to focus on keeping it clean and getting back up to speed, cleaning off those tires now that they're dirty.
Yep, so right now we're just, I think everyone's starting to get settled in a little bit. We do have this pack here of 5 cars, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Looking like there might be something spicy actually in the back though. James Philbin having to deal with the charging Lexus of Spangler and the Porsche of Dornelis, the man who was on pole, who got spun out, trying to regain what he's lost as they go into Spoon. Now this is a corner that's probably not going to be, or well, it's going to be very kind to Philbin and Dornelis, who does overtake Spangler. But coming on here to the backstretch, these two cars don't really have much of a top end. At least I know the Porsche doesn't. The Aston has terrible turbo lag. I can tell you that for a fact. And then you have the Lexus of Spangler. I know the Lexus can be a speedy little demon as Philbin goes way off course. I think that might be a track cut. I'm not too certain, but for now he does retain the position. But he goes onto the grass, and look at the move by Dornelis.
That was brave and very close to disaster, but well done to him to get that move done. And now Jeff Spangler's on the back bumper, ready to dive into turn 1.
It's like the driver's still not settled with the rain, and I think they're still feeling the track. Like as we see Jeff Spangler going wide in turn 1 and turn 2, and just giving back the space, the place to Philbin. But I mean, yeah, they're still getting to work the rain, and they're feeling the track. It's still a lot of time to go, and I feel like they're still settling with the car that they have.
Yeah, it takes a couple laps for those tires to get up to temperature and working order, especially the wet tires, but it should be coming into order now, and looking like Dornelis and them are kind of taking off. Spangler has dropped back a bit. Kenneth Portis here, 17th position. We've got Tommy Cogan, who's on the charge again and trying to come back up to the field.
Yeah, we see Mosley picking up a 5-second penalty. That's going to be causing a collision on lap 1. I'm wondering if that was with Dornelis or perhaps somebody else. I don't know. I don't think it was, but it might have been one of the McLarens we saw going off. We've got, speaking of cars going off, 176. That's Colin Johnson getting all sorts of incorrect. And let's see what happens. Oh, looks like he just loses the back end of the Porsche there, and almost takes out a few other cars on the way through.
Yeah, but he did the correct thing there, holding on the brakes. I think he clipped that inside curve, which bumped and upset the car. Seen that happen in a lot of league races. So yeah, unfortunately for him, dropping down quite a few positions from that little error, and I don't know how much damage, but you know, hitting that rear of the Porsche will cause a bit of engine damage, so that's unfortunate to see.
Yeah, I've always been told that curves are death in the wet rain.
Yes, that's...
Yeah, that curve in particular doesn't matter, no matter if it's wet or dry. If you clip that the wrong, just a little bit too much, most cars get upset. So let's see what Colin can regain from that mistake there.
Have to see Colin into the pits though, so it looks like the damage might be a little bit much. Let's see if we can hop on board. It doesn't look like there's anything too bad about it. Maybe just a little bit of a touch-up. He does have a mandatory pit stop cleared, so I mean that's a plus, but he's gonna have to get some a little bit of detail work done on the car though, so we'll have to see how that affects his race. We have Martinez picking up a 10-second penalty. That's for speeding in the pit lane, so that is absolutely not what he wanted for his evening. Hopping on board here, Tommy Cogan though, currently setting P15 like we said earlier on that charge, back up the grid. He's got sort of an entourage behind him. of Portis, Friesen, and Hasser all looking to try and gain a position here, but the leaders have kind of spread out and done their thing, so we're going to be looking towards the mid-pack for the most part for these battles, seeing how everybody kind of plays together as this race progresses. The rain still very much coming down here at Suzuka, so we'll see if any standing water becomes an issue. But look at this little train we've got going. It's Honda, Ferrari, Lamborghini, McLaren, and Aston Martin. Oh, Aston Martin's way out. Never mind. It's just these 5 cars, though.
Yeah, a little train going into the hairpin section there, one after another, but clean racing for those guys. I wonder if the Hondas is struggling a bit in these conditions compared to the other drivers behind in those cars. Maybe handle the conditions a little better.
Potentially. I know that when it comes... So the thing I do like about Suzuka is just how it's laid out when you cut it in half. The first half, you know, it's very technical. A lot of, you know, not sharp corners, but a lot of quick corners, a lot of, you know, showing how well can the car handle in some slower areas. And then the second half is just, you know, pedal to the metal top end. So finding a car that's a balance of both, I think, is very, very difficult to find. But even, you know, in something like the Porsche, for example, and we have a Mercedes spun around. Who was that? Mid-sentence, never mind. Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was. I think he went to the pits immediately after he crashed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unfortunate. But as I was saying, though, you know, you have cars like the Porsche, which really, really shine through this first sector. Actually, we've got Philbin, or not Philbin, yeah, Philbin. We've got Philbin a little bit of a mistake that does give Kogan the line through, as well as Portis and Friesen and Hasser, and it looks like Dag and maybe Holmes also getting a bonus there for that little mistake. So you can see just what happens when you're running in these close-knit groups. You step out of line just a little bit, and all of a sudden the car is gone, and you're dropping position after position after position.
Yeah, he was doing all right to keep it clean and avoid them, but kind of got caught onto the grass, and it just sucked him in. But watch as they come into the hairpin, how dangerous this is on the braking, and kind of terrifying for all the drivers.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're just finding that line where they're not gonna be overtaken by the car in the back, and they're not gonna hit in the car in the front. So I mean, it's rain, it's like it's open game, you know.
You can see the lights behind, especially you can see all the water that gets kicked up. So here we go. This is onto the backstretch around Spoon. So this is where, if your car struggles in the first half, you could probably shine in the second half, as we actually see the Lamborghini of Dave Hasser going off there. We're going to drop back a little bit, see what happened as they go through Spoon. It looks like it was just driver error. He gets out and, oh, just loses the car a little bit, and almost taking out the McLaren there of, I believe it was Christian Holmes? But that is certainly not what Dave wants.
If you just accelerate too quickly out of that corner, a lot of cars will kick and try to spin into the wall, as we saw right there, and especially extra amount of spin in the rain, that's for sure.
Yeah, that Lamborghini very much in pain right now, and he is going to dive into the pits. You could see the headlights there flickering a little bit. That can happen when you sustain too much damage to that front end.
Ryan Yee in the pit lane right now. Ryan Yee has come in for his mandatory pit stop. I'm at the 45-minute mark here. Good time to pit, and we'll see if he can get what Ryan Walker is going to be doing, if he's going to stay out there longer and get that overcut on him.
Have to see. I think I believe Ryan Yee, a lot of these top runners are actually at a point where they're already lapping the field, so that's kind of just showing you not only how much skill you need for this track, but also how quickly things can change, as we see Renato Dornelis down the inside of Clifford here, going up towards Spoon. That Porsche does not have the front end. He does tag the Lamborghini, and it's Clifford around into the wall. He manages to keep it a light tap.
Yeah, he did a good job to save that unfortunate incident there. That will be looked at. Dornelis just getting a little too excited there, trying to get that pass done right in that section.
Yeah, I feel like Dornelis is really impatient by now because I mean he almost lost it in the first lap of the race, so he would want to be like at the top of top 5 just to get that decent point.
Yeah. But well done to Clifford for saving it well, and I don't think I was bad enough to worry about pitting in the wet anyways, as you know, you're a little bit slower, so a bit of aero damage won't make that much of a difference here tonight, I don't think, but we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, it almost looked like Dornelis got quite a run. I feel like Clifford might have just lost the car a little bit because it seemed like he lifted to slow down and Dornelis couldn't react in time. So I don't think that was an ill-tempered move. I think that was just a slight driver error. So if anything, Dornelis might get a slight slap on the wrist, but it shouldn't be too much in terms of this race. Dornelis currently sitting P8. He managed to, or no, he didn't manage to get around Mosley. Mosley got around Clifford, so Clifford does lose out with those 2 places. But things starting to settle down here. It looks like everyone's spaced out and getting ready for the long haul.
Yeah, I mean, there's still 42 minutes, and yeah, I just noticed also that Austin Carpenter is in provisional P3, and he's like 23 seconds behind Ryan Walker in provisional P2. Yeah, I'm excited where he can put that Aston because I mean, the Aston is king in the rain, and also I noticed that one of our debutants in this race. Am I right? Am I right for calling them the debutants? Nick Mosley and the Ferrari of the number 160 silver, what you call that category.
Yeah,
he is in P9 right now.
Yeah, I think it's his second race here. Car 176, though, up ahead, spinning off. Colin Johnson, not the first time. I think he might have just lost. I believe it's at 130R, it looks like. Yeah, I think it is. I think maybe those curbs claiming another victim. We were a little too late to the scene, unfortunately. But that is definitely one of the sections of this track that you need to be absolutely careful of. You never know what could happen. I know that there are some cars that you absolutely have to lift, and there's others where you're more than willing to put the pedal down. But I'm guessing in the wet you have to change it up, and perhaps our friend there may have had a quick lapse of judgment. Car 921, though. That's Dave Hasser going a bit wide there. So it looks like 130R is catching people out now.
Sure. Still 2 guys out, or 3 guys out on track and not doing their mandatory pit stops. So see if they can build that gap up. Got McIver and Levitt at the moment. Dornelis on the charge forward. And looks like Kenneth Porras kind of just holding up that crew behind him. It's keeping them at bay and still able to keep that pace. But Tommy Cogan, we saw him have an incident early on and back up to 13th here, and so some guys being able to come back from those incidents there. And Dave Hasser, he's got some work to do. He's got 40 minutes to come up the field a little bit, and you never know what happens as this race is long and the wet's unpredictable.
Yeah, Ryan Walker into the pits, though, so he's getting his pit stop out of the way. So I think that leaves just Carpenter and Flonger have yet to go out, so we'll see if they're trying. I think they're trying to like stay out, try to get this get these cars going for as long as they can, and then go into the pits and then pray that they have enough of a gap to where they can maintain their position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing I've noticed about the rain, from my little experience in it, is you don't really know what the pace of the other cars is, and you don't really know what your pace is compared to the other cars because of you haven't done the setup or you're not experienced with the rain. So I'm just really skeptical where the cars will be in the end of the race. It's just, it's confusing for me right now.
No, it's fine. I mean, we still got 38.5 minutes here for North American Blue, so I think we'll be seeing some more strategy come into play, especially as this race develops. We have this little group here getting together. Portis, Friesen, and Dag have been sort of close enough to one another to keep the other, you know, honest as they go through 130R here. Probably a little bit of a lift. It's actually Friesen who's going to lose out the most there. Dag wanted to go one way, wanted to go the other, but Friesen keeping that Ferrari planted in the middle of the turn, keeping Dag guessing, and coming out of the corner. It might be for naught. The top end on that Ferrari trying to punch a hole for itself, and Dag behind, but it looks like Dag did not get the exit he wanted, so for the time being, Friesen holds on to P15. You see Dag just a little blip to the right side there, just showing his face, trying to throw off the Canadian driver, but makes a little mistake himself, and Friesen with enough breathing room to get himself refocused. And we had Dave Hasser off again, and he's back in the pits, so Dave's night has gone from bad to worse for him, so hopefully he can sort that out, but we'll have to wait and see how all this plays out as this race goes on. Friesen a lot closer to Portis now.
Sure, yeah, guys in the chat there, we just had some last minute changes here tonight, so we're doing our best with the broadcast, and it will definitely be sorted next time, but we're not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to focus on some good racing there, and maybe we'll have a chance to update that. Nick will look at that between the races here.
Yeah, I do apologize for the overlays. Mullick did pass those off to me. I believe I think it was like I mean, it wasn't too long before the broadcast tonight, but the problem with using Streamlabs OBS is that the cloud saving can be kind of spotty at times, so not everything got transferred over, so I do apologize for that, but I will be getting all of the other files and whatnot before the next race. Thankfully, we do have next week off, so that'll give me more than enough time to kind of get to grips with everything here. But when you guys swing back not next week, 2 weeks from now, everything should be sorted out. So just pretend that says NA Blue. We'll just pretend.
I'm gonna
Alright, so
pretend
there's
for you,
looking
man.
at where Carpenter, he's still up there in the lead at the moment, I believe. No, P2 at the moment, but he's still out there. He hasn't pitted yet, no.
Yeah, I think him and Flomger might be on the same sort of strategy. Just go for as long as you can. You can see Flomger right there, actually. Oh, is that Flomger? No, Flomger! He gets a little bit loose, and that's going to give Carpenter what he wants. Go back about 10 seconds. Oh, I should have gone 15, but you just saw the back end of that McLaren step out, and, well, there goes Carpenter into the lead. So for Carpenter, that's great. For Flomger, not so much.
Yeah, I feel like right now Austin Carpenter is gonna be thinking, okay, where can I put this Aston by the end of the race? Really, I'm really excited where he can put it though. But I mean, provisionally, Ryan Yee is still P1 with like 36 seconds behind the leader. But I mean, Ryan Walker also has P2 right now. So let's see where Austin Carpenter will be after he pitted for time.
It'll be just Carpenter out, the last man to pit, so it looks like he might be going for a longer stint. I don't believe that the wet tires will degrade as much as the regular race slicks, just because of the tread they have, so perhaps staying out is actually a good thing for some of these drivers, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more pit stops coming through as this race goes on.
Yeah, no, they don't degrade too bad. I haven't experienced them, but I haven't been in many long wet races here today, so I couldn't tell. But I would say most of the field's pretty set on one set for the remainder of this one.
Yeah, I think you could probably go one set of tires. in 1 hour of racing in the rain. So
Possibly. I've only done a couple of wet races in my time here on ACC, so I don't have the most experience. But speaking of wet weather, rain's going to be increasing in 10 minutes, but then decreasing within the next 30, so perhaps the rain will subside, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. Because not only will the rain stop, but the track has to dry, but it's at night, so perhaps it won't.
Yeah, it's really up in the air now. We're really getting a roller coaster of weather conditions, but this is quite exciting, and we'll see if Carpenter, he could be on to something great here, depending on what the weather decides to do.
yeah, I mean, what do you think? Is it gonna dry, Casey, or or are they like gonna be still in wets by the end of the race?
It depends on how fast. I mean, Nick was mentioning at nighttime that will affect for sure how quickly or if they'll get dry at all without having that sunlight. So uh, I'm sure the drivers are finding a dry line now, and that will become more pronounced as the rain dissipates more and more.
Casey, what do you think is what can you say about racing in the rain? Have you been experienced in driving in the rain in ACC?
Yeah, so I would say it's a lot more about being patient, really coasting the car through corners, watching how much you apply that throttle, and of course adding the traction control and ABS, cranking those up to an appropriate amount. I mean, 10 is a little too extreme. I find it really bogs the car down beyond what you need it. So, around 8 is a good setting for those. And then depending, like it's going to be starting to get a little dry, you have to worry about temperatures and dipping them in the wheels into some puddles there to cool them down a little bit. You only have to do that a few times during a lap, keep them in check, and yeah, most part just being patient and not pushing the car.
Oh, I mean, my experience with rain is when I did a 12-hour Silverstone and I pitted. I mean, my teammate pitted just after the rain stopped and the track was greasy and it was like the worst feeling in a dry tires setup or dry tire pit. It was the worst feeling ever in driving in a greasy track, really.
Yeah, I do not enjoy greasy track. Luckily, anytime I've had that, it's only been for a short while, and then either it dries up or gets more wet here. But yeah, this race is all up for grabs right now. It's quite interesting. Carpenter in the lead, 12 laps, and as we said, the Aston's quite good in the wet, so he's in a good position. But Ryan Yee and Ryan Walker, they are on the charge and aren't gonna uh, really have problems unless something big occurs in front of them. They're pretty solid drivers, so we'll see if they can catch them near the end of the race here.
I think it's also important to point out Renato Dornelis up to P6, so he did start in that pole position, but got a little bit slippy in the beginning, but he has done an excellent job recovering positions here at Suzuka. We just passed the halfway point here in the race, so good run from him. If he keeps this up, he should be in the lead in no time at all. It doesn't look like he's had any sort of discipline from the incident earlier with the Lamborghini of, I believe it was Clifford. So it might have been down to a driving incident, thankfully for him. But yeah, a very good job on his part, as well as, everyone else who's been, keeping it as clean as they can. Especially here in the wets, and I know some people are probably just waiting for this race to be over, because I know I, for one, am not a fan of wet weather racing. I'll watch it, I just don't want to do it.
Fair enough. I was going to say Carpenter here, he's got, I think Ryan Yee is plus 29.4 seconds, so he should pit soon, I would say, to try to get ahead of him or keep ahead of him, but I'm not sure if he'll be gaining lap time or not here as the race ticks down.
Yeah, I think Carpenter lost a lot of time.
Who is that?
Before
Is that Dag? Hold on, I'm sorry to interrupt.
177. Yeah, it's Thomas Dag, man. Yeah,
Let's
see
see
here
what
a replay
happened.
of what happened.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, just again. Rain plus curve equals death.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. You saw the rear end of that McLaren just get a little bit jumpy, and well, at that point, he was more of a passenger. He almost saved it too. I gotta commend him for that. He did a very good job of keeping that McLaren together, but unfortunately, his luck sort of ran out. He kept it off the wall, thankfully, so just a little bit of damaged pride instead of damaged car bodies. But he'll be looking to recover off of that. As we ride on board here, James Philbin, the view from, well, now the front of his Aston Martin. So you might be able to hear it out of these corners. One thing the Aston Martin really struggles with is the turbo lag. As someone who has put many hours into the Aston Martin, I can tell you my least favorite place to be in that is the exit of corners. It takes forever for that turbo to spool up, and by the time it does, someone's already on your tail. So now you've got to do a little bit more defending than you would normally be used to. But yeah, I think for right now though, Philbin should be gaining an advantage, especially here on the back stretch. The Porsche, not the best top end, even with the slipstream, so Philbin might be thanking his lucky stars for that one.
Yeah, looking good for him here. As you can see, you're talking about top speed. He gains quite a bit down that back straight section, and then down the start straight as well. But the Porsche will be a lot better through the S section of the track.
Yeah, one thing also I noticed about the Aston and the Porsche, they have awesome rotation in the S's, where with the Nissan it's completely different. I mean, the S's we take everything later, we take the corners later because I mean we have to take it a lot straighter than them. But when I watched like onboards of like one of the fastest drivers in the Aston here, it was so sweet to watch. Like it's flowing. It doesn't have like it doesn't wait for the tires to grip because it's always on grip. I mean, those cars are just really good in the first sector, and yeah, I'm excited where I mean all of the drivers of the Aston and the Porsche can put their car at the end of the race.
Yeah, that was one thing. That was one thing Andreas and I noticed in the EU split is that the Porsche does insanely well in sectors 1 and 2, just due to the slower sort of corners and the lack of getting up to speed. But the second you get onto that backstretch, it's kind of over. So like you said, Nate, just the rotation of not only the Porsche but the Aston Martin is absolutely crucial going through sectors 1 and 2, and that's where you're going to see those drivers gaining their the most of their advantages before they start losing time on the backstretch.
Yeah, Jacob just saying in chat here, Dave having a challenging race here, but if he brings it home, he'll be driver of the day. As we watch an Aston Martin go really wide through turn 1. I also noticed Ryan Walker in the pit lane. I'm not sure what happened to his car, but he is in the pits right now.
Yeah, and Carpenter still yet to pit, so Carpenter really just trying to extend as much as he can with this lead. The gap currently, it has yet to update, but it is just about 23 seconds, so I don't know if Carpenter is going to be able to open up enough of a gap over Ryan Yee. Ryan Yee has already gotten his pit stop done, so that's good news for him. We do see Guillermo Martinez, though, spinning out. We'll have to see what happened. He goes a little wide at 130R, and well, I think 130R is turning into more of a graveyard, as we see, yeah, you see him in the wall there on the left side. Definitely not what he wanted this evening.
It's taken a few lives, that's for sure. Oh yeah, so we're getting an update here that Ryan Walker unfortunately disconnected and sitting in the pit lane waiting for that death counter of 2 minutes to tick down so he can get back out on track.
Yeah, you hate to see it. It always, you can have a great day, you have a great race, but if your internet decides not to cooperate, well, that's unfortunate. We see MacGyver into the pits, though, and Martinez, so Looks like Martinez going in for some damage repairs. And I don't know what MacGyver is. Carpenter finally going into the pits, though.
Yeah, we're gonna see Carpenter getting behind Ryan Yee for about, I think, just 10 seconds behind Ryan Yee after the pit. So let's see.
Yeah, something like that there. But he's held out as long as he could there. The track conditions don't seem to be getting much drier quicker than had been expected. So he's just going to hit that pit stop, get those fresh tires, and now it's damage limitation, and try to come out ahead of as many guys as possible.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that develops. Ryan Yee, though, has taken over the lead here of this race, so the earlier pit stop definitely benefiting him going through sectors 1 here. So it will be interesting to see where Carpenter files out at the end of this. I don't believe... Oh, Alvarado's overtaken him, so that's going to be P3 when he gets out of the pits. But yeah, I don't know how well the long strategy went for him.
He's getting out now on Dornalis is coming around right now for 5th position there, so looks like I'm not sure where he's going to come out, but maybe ahead of him.
I see someone spun in O. Did you see that? I see someone spun in the S's. I think it was... Oh no, he disconnected, I think.
I didn't... Yeah, I looked really quick. I didn't see anything. I just saw cars moving through the S's. We've gone, unfortunately, though, we've gone from 25 drivers down to 20, so it looks like some drivers are unfortunately disconnecting. Riding on with the debutant Nick Mosley from Team Bacon. I can imagine what their breakfast looks like in the Ferrari, doing very well for himself. P10 at the moment, so if I had to bet on it, that might be a maybe a Pro-Am promotion for him. He does have a 5-second penalty, but he does have a almost 7-second gap down to Kogan, so that's good news for him. So he could potentially, if things stay like this, he could maintain that P10 even after the flag.
Yeah, I think that's literally a Bacon livery. So big props to him.
Well, I mean, red and yellow are hungry colors, so maybe he's also sponsored by McDonald's. I know we're not.
So McIvan there, Alan ends up crashing into the wall there and got 2 minutes of damage, unfortunately. So he's in the pit lane.
Oh yeah, you see him back there. Unfortunate for him. You know, we've been talking about these wet weather conditions, and even just sort of the nature of Suzuka. You can kind of crash out, so it's unfortunate to see yet another victim. Holmes, though, with a 30-second stop go for him. So it looks like everybody's night not really going the way they wanted.
Yeah, Dave Hassner now has left the server after that unfortunate event there. So we're down quite a few. Like we said, 20 drivers remaining. Let's see what the guys who stuck this tough race out where they can finish. On Flonger now, coming through T1. He's doing pretty well. Our highest placed McLaren on track currently.
Yeah, also one thing I noticed is that Austin Carpenter right now is behind Thomas Pierce. I was expecting for him to be behind Ryan Yee out of the pit. I think something happened to him.
Yeah, Thomas Pierce in that Ferrari, doing okay ahead of Carpenter at the moment, but Carpenter only half a second behind him. We'll see if that will as it updates now, he's gaining quite a bit of time to the 4th place driver of Carpenter.
And we see Friesen getting ready to probably eye up a move on May, or I guess not. Darn autopilot. I was just getting done praising it on my own terms. But yeah, we should see potentially a couple more position changes before the end of the race. Jonathan Clifford doing well for himself. The 999 machine up in P8 with Spangler right behind P9. So Good job for him. We will be seeing Spangler and Dave later tonight. After the blue split, we'll hop over to red split. But yeah, so far, a lot of these drivers getting the job done. We hop on board here. Jerome Mai, excuse me, getting a little bit on the grass there. That could potentially give Friesen a move. We know how fast the Ferraris are in a straight line. He does have that slipstream. He's going to peer down the inside going into turn 1. He doesn't look like there's enough. He's going to be a little bit later on the brakes. He is. And that could be May losing that position as they go to, as we hop on board with Jerome May. And that is going to be the position gained for Friesen. So great, incredible overtake for him. Kept it brave down the inside, later on the brakes, and it's just a case of squaring it away.
Yeah,
It's interesting. Oh, sorry, Nathan, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna talk that Friesen was just brave enough to put that nose just enough so that Mai will be able to notice that he's beside him, and then because of the rain, it's gonna be scary to defend so hard in turn 1. So I think, yeah, Friesen just used that chance to put that nose in. So good props to him.
Yeah, for sure. There, Clifford had that scary moment, and he's managed to keep it together here. But on to Carpenter and that pink Aston coming through. I can't remember the section of the track, but
Degno 1 and 2,
now.
I think. Yeah, Degno 1 and 2.
I always forget that.
I'm right there with you. I kind of had to look up a couple corners before the broadcast. I was like, all right, wait, hold on. What's this one again?
60 minutes and 30 seconds here remaining in our race tonight with NA Blue. Hope you guys have been enjoying the broadcast. Thanks to Nick for helping set this up and taking care of that. If you are enjoying, make sure to hit that like button so we can get more sim racers involved and enjoying and watching our content and great racing that you guys out on track provide for us here.
One thing I noticed though is that it feels this race, because of the rain, I think, feels so long. I feel like we've done already past an hour of racing. That's what it feels like for me right now.
I might have to agree with you on that. I think I feel like when we have these, you know, the dry condition races, I almost feel like it goes a little too quickly. And you're like, oh, that was an hour. Oh, I thought that was like 15 minutes. I thought this was just your standard pub lobby time limit. But yeah, like he said, I feel like we've been racing forever, it feels like, with the rain.
Yeah, I don't know what your guys' experience with night racing is, but it's a lot more immersive and atmospheric there, and you can get into a rhythm as a driver, and you forget time kind of ticks on slowly, and yeah, these races, as we say, can end up ending in a blink of an eye or feel like the longest blink you've ever had in your life.
I also like with night racing, you just get that nice little glow in your car. Let me tell you, that is like amazing, and I love it, and I don't know why. But whenever I just see that nice little purple, glow, depending on what kind of livery I'm rocking, I'm like, that's good. That's why I like night racing. Other than that, it's a little terrifying, especially because, you know, a lot of drivers will use, you know, brake markers, you know, something like, oh, here's a crane over here, oh, there's this lamp post over there that I'm going to use. But when it gets to night, sometimes you can't see them, so you sort of have to, you know, search for a new break point, and that can kind of mess you up if you're not prepared for it.
Yeah, funny enough, that I noticed when we had the night race and the rookie race for Suzuka, the brake markers here in Suzuka is, I mean, easy in the night race. It's still there, and you don't have to change anything when it goes night. The one thing I noticed when night racing is, it's easier to hot lap or just put in the laps as you go around in the race, but it's harder battling with someone like 2 tenths to 5 tenths behind or in front. So yeah, that's what I noticed from the night racing.
I'd have to agree with you on
I
that
thought
one.
what was interesting in this race, I don't know about you guys, but we have 13 13 km/h winds here, which I don't think I usually see that high of winds in a racing around different servers and leagues here at ACC. So it's quite a strong wind, and that's kind of hard going through some of these corners. Maybe people aren't used to experiencing what that does to the cars.
Yeah, and especially if you look at the temperatures, also might have a bit of an effect on these tires. I don't know how much the tires will be affected by not only these damp conditions, but the night race and the lower temps overall. I'm sure everybody is having no trouble keeping their cars pointed forward. But yeah, it's been a whole, oh, hold on. We've got Thomas Pierce, it looks like, getting a little bit out of shape, and that actually does give Carpenter a chance to push up, as well as Dornelis. Dornelis for himself, an excellent recovery drive all the way up into P2, P3 it looks like, unless that wasn't actually Pierce and that was me just getting excited about nothing.
No, it was Pierce.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Whew. I was
fourth, but Dornelis looks quite speedy, so Carpenter has his work cut out for him, and with 12:30 left here in the race to defend from that speedy Dornelis behind in the Porsche.
Yeah, that was
It's gonna be a spicy battle for PT right now. I'm excited. So let's stick for this battle for now. Okay, this is exciting.
This is getting good. I mean, this is probably one of the closest battles we've seen. A lot of the drivers, you can see just from the timing column on the left, a lot of gaps from these drivers. The only thing that would be close is Clifford to Spangler at the moment, 6/10, about 7/10 as things get updated. But yeah, I mean, you saw Pierce there. He got a little out of shape into turn 1, and it was 2 positions lost. I feel like turn 1 is also one of the corners in this, or on this track, that really seems to catch people out the most. I don't know if it's just the later double apex that they're not expecting, or what it is, but we've seen people go off there and here at 130R, as Carpenter and Dornelis are going to show us. You can just see the lack of top end from that German engineered Porsche. But yeah, the Aston Martin more than able to hold its own there. You saw even with the slipstream, Dornelis wasn't really able to gain anything as they head through the chicane once more to start another lap here. But yeah, excellent recovery drive from Dornelis.
Dornelis looks like he's going to come on and try to make a move here going into turn 1. He's a little bit far back here, but maybe in the aspect he's going to be right on his bumper. And he's going to be challenging hard to get this pass, as we've seen him in the past. He's quite the aggressive passer and sticks his nose in there and makes his presence known, that's for sure.
Yeah. Also, one thing, these 2 cars are one of the, I mean, for me, the best in terms of like outright traction in the rain. So I'm pretty sure, I'm guessing where Renato Dornelis can place his Porsche out of the corners, because I mean, with the Porsche out of the corners you have much better traction, but in the Aston you have much better top speed around mid speed or top speed. So I'm excited where this battle will go.
Yeah, and especially with the Aston Martin, it does have that speed, but you will notice out of some corners that turbo lag coming into play. So I think what Carpenter is trying to do is, gain the time where he can. He won't lose too much on the exit of corners, but every little bit kind of adds up. So he's going to be looking towards gaining all that time back down the back stretch, as we actually hop on with Gabriel Pereira, who's behind Ryan Yee right now, just sort of keeping him company. But yeah, going down 130R, or going down the back stretch here, you can see just how far back Dornelis is. I think he might have gotten a little loose somewhere when we weren't looking, but you can see just the gap starting to form a little bit more with this Aston Martin, the top end of it, compared to what the Porsche has, as Carpenter goes a bit wide there. I think he sort of missed his brake point. That's going to give Dornelis exactly what he needs to catch right back up, and he is on the bumper of the Aston Martin through the chicane again. So Dornelis really trying to keep Carpenter honest and really starting to put the pressure on.
Yeah, I feel like Dornelis is just scaring Carpenter under the braking zone because Dornelis was so late in that braking to Casio. That was so scary though.
Mosley here has got some good speed on him. He ends up carrying that 5-second penalty though. But Jeff Spangler trying to get back past Clifford. They've been battling for that position. Longer was pretty close to Pierce here, but it's dropped back quite a bit, so I don't know what happened there. And Kenneth Portis, he's getting closer and closer to Tommy Cogan. So coming down here to the line, we got quite a few little battles here on track, and the guys are pushing as hard as they can in this wet rain conditions.
And that was a spin by Jeff Spangler out of Casio. I don't know what happened, but I think he clipped the curb on the right. Oh no, just because I think just around the exit. What happened there though?
He might have just lost the back end there. You saw it just sort of step out. I don't think that was anything more than driver error. So Mosley will benefit from that and pick up P9 from the Lexus driver. Again, he does have that 5-second penalty, but you see the gap there, almost 11 seconds down. So if Mosley can just keep it clean for the remaining 720, he should be sitting pretty in P9, which would be a very good result there. Here's your race leader, Ryan Yee. Once again, really just showing his prowess here in North American Sprint. He has been on an absolute tear these last few weeks, really showing everybody that he is going to be the man to beat. As we see Gabriel Pereira just getting a little bit loosey-goosey into that first turn. Once again, catching out a lot of people.
I think we mentioned Holmes here. Holmes in 15th position. Got that 10-second penalty, but just right behind, probably behind the driver. Calvin Johnson, he's still out there battling through the race that he had, but back up to Carpenter as he's defending from Dornelis, and Dornelis is right there, looking to make the move, coming into turn 1 here. He's going to try the inside. Carpenter is holding his line there and defending, and he's able to hold him off one more time down that third straight.
You saw how close Dornelis was. It looked like perhaps Carpenter got a little bit of a terrible exit out of the chicane there, and Dornelis was knocking on the door but has to back out. I'm wondering if he's trying to bide his time.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting for Carpenter to make a mistake. There's nothing really he can do if Carpenter is good in placing his car in the proper quarter. So yeah, I mean, just defending in the rain is easy compared to the drive if you know what you're doing. So
Yeah, well done to Carpenter. He's still holding off that fast driver behind. And we'll see though, Dornelis, he gets closer, as you said earlier. Carpenter gets a little spooked on the brakes there, but he's got a few more laps if he can just keep his composure there and like you said, defend the lines and do what he needs to do here. Should be good to scoop up that podium position of third here in the race tonight.
yeah. Also, I know that his team name is my wife who made me do it. Maybe because of the livery. So I guess if he gets third place right now, after in the finish, his wife is gonna be proud.
I mean, waifu is typically a word we hear with Japan. As we all of us on the internet. So perhaps they're smiling upon his car. I think I saw the 999 of Clifford yellow circle there. I don't know what happened. I think he might have gotten a little bit loose going out of a corner though. Carpenter though really holding on for dear life. It looks like we're gonna have maybe 3 more laps here at Suzuka. Dornelis though not able to match the Aston Martin. You can hear the Aston Martin out of the corners. You can hear just how low that engine is. You can just hear how low the sound is, and then the turbo kicks in, and that's where I think Dornelis is going to try to benefit the most is out of these slow corners, because the Porsche does not have that problem. But unfortunately, he's he cannot find a way around Carpenter these last few laps. So if he's going to go for a move, he's going to have to get close enough, stick there, and then go for something right at the end.
I mean, I don't know why even Aston Martin made an engine where it has so much lag in the low end. I mean, the Nissan has very linear turbo spool, so I think the only car that struggles with turbo lag is the BMW M6 and this car, the Aston. So, yeah.
Probably, though, Tommy Kogan, Cherry Blossom waifu, so a little bit of leaning into the waifu craze here. P10 for him, so that's pretty good. You see Clifford right behind, very angry Lamborghini, not happy about losing those positions, so he's on the charge back. He was sitting up in P8 when things were going his way. We do see Mosley with a 5-second penalty, so if he can keep the gap up to Spangler. We have a car off, though. That appeared to be... Who is that? Mendina.
Yeah, out of Dunlop.
A little late for it, unfortunately. I wasn't fast enough. It looked like, if I had to bet on it, probably got a little bit loose out of a corner and sort of just perished from there. I can't tell exactly where that is, but thankfully it wasn't at 130R, the place to not be for a spin.
Yeah, it was just at the last left-hander there, the S section coming up the hill. You can go a little wide there, and the car just pulls you all the way off the track. But Carpenter, again, still defending. He's gained some time now. The gap was almost a second there coming into that corner. Justin Friesen having to come into the pit lane in the last couple laps, so maybe some gas issues there with the fuel not having enough in the car.
Yeah, also I noticed that maybe Dornelis is struggling right now because of the tires. Because I mean, Alvarado pitted much later compared to Dornelis, so I think it's just maybe because of like the tire difference that Carpenter is able to put out like decent laps without even thinking about anything, and Dornelis is just really struggling with those front tires, trying to make a move, waiting for Carpenter to make a mistake. And so maybe Carpenter will get this win for third place.
I just wanted to mention Keith Briscoe. Sorry for missing your funny joke there, but when Dag crashed, we missed the opportunity to say Dag nabbit, but we'll get it in there.
Oh,
there you go,
that's good. I'm kind of
Good
sad we didn't
job,
get
man.
that. All right, taking. All right, looks like we need to get a fourth person in the booth for jokes.
Yeah, we need it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness. Dornelis, though, trying to get a good run out of the corner. Not quite yet. Carpenter holding on the leader. Ryan Yee with, well, more than daylight. That's more like an entire galaxy between him and Alvarado. So this will be the final lap here for every driver, at least behind Ryan Yee, but Carpenter doing an excellent job of holding on to this P3 as they go down this back stretch here. Dornelis trying everything in his power. The man who started on pole got sent to the back off of an error and has recovered quite well. Could potentially get onto the podium as we see Carpenter going a bit wide. And a bit later on the brakes, he's going to completely miss the chicane. And it's Dornelis after laps and laps and laps of fighting. He's going to get what he wanted. He's going to get the biggest gift of them all. Carpenter just missing his brake point. You saw him go wide at 130R, and that just threw him off enough. And car number 3, in position number 3, Renato Dornelis. What a recovery drive he's had tonight.
Wow, we need F's in chat, guys. Wow, that was sad, really.
Yeah, unfortunately, that just kind of shows what happens there. I mean, good job to Carpenter for able to hold and not crack under that pressure for as long as he did there. But for anyone out there, you know, you just keep up that pressure. You worry about your laps, and hopefully the guy ahead will will make an error as we saw there, and you'll pick up that position. So the consistency is key, and not forcing your hand. Knowing if you just stay right there, you're gonna force that error. So well done to both drivers for some clean racing there, and Ornelas jumping up into third. Well, where he was gonna think he rightfully deserves here tonight, with the pace and the quality of driving we're seeing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
I
about.
mean,
Oh, go ahead.
yeah. I mean, the thing about it to say is like the Dornelis feels. I feel like Dornelis has felt that a weight has been lifted after so many laps of waiting, and right now we see Ryan Yee leading the pack by a mile away, by a universe away. My goodness, that's a big lead ahead of P2, and we're now seeing Nicholas Alvarado going to 130R and going into Casio to finish that P2. And yes, this is gonna this is a big win for Ryan Yee. Congrats to Nicholas Alvarado, and yeah, congrats again to the winners, the podium winners of this race. So, so far we're still waiting for Alvarado to go to the finish line, and we're now with Renato Dornelis going into Casio, um, going to the exit and going to the finish line. So it's Ryan Yee for first, Nicolas Alvarado for second, Renato Dornelis for third, Austin Carpenter for fourth, and so far we're still waiting for the fifth place and the sixth place to finish their lap, their last lap.
Yeah,
Right there,
we mentioned it
for
earlier.
sure.
Dornelis having to wait until the end. You know, he said he was catching up to Carpenter, but he couldn't get around. Just wait till the last lap, make a move. But he didn't have to make a move because, well, it was Carpenter that was making the wrong move. But Dornelis, though, from pole, falling back, and an excellent recovery drive. I'd have to vote him for driver of the night up into P3. So that's an excellent drive out of him. Ronan Medina coming across the line for P7. Great job from him and Nick Mosley, the debutant here for North American Sprint. Will most likely be getting his classification in time for Zandvoort, and if not, then the last race at Kyalami, finishing in a very comfortable P8. Jeff Spangler actually getting spun out there by, it looked like Tommy Kogan. No, it wasn't Tommy Kogan. It looked like it was another driver altogether, and Spangler's all sorts of messed up now. He's sort of struggling, so he'll be limping.
There.
Oh, that's who it was. Okay, so that's going to be some post-race discussions, but there it is. Jeff Spangler, the last man to cross the line, saving the best for last, and that's going to be the blue split getting their time done. So there we go, full send into the wall. Great stuff. Looking at the timing sheets, though, overall it's Ryan Yee, Nicholas Alvarado, and Dornelis on the podium. Pro-Am, Mendina, MacGyver, and Kogan your top three, and then amateur it's just May, and silver is Mosley. But what a race we had here tonight.
Yes, thanks for joining us, guys, in the chat and watching on stream. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time out for NA Blue. Thanks for the gentleman in the booth with me. Appreciate you guys' work here tonight. Make sure everyone, you hit that like button to show the support of all these volunteers and what we do here at Octane Online Racing. We'll catch you guys later. Good night from me, and we'll see you.
Uh, yeah, I mean, good job to everyone who finished the race. I mean, I know it was a very hard race, unlike what's happening right now in Spit Red. It's gonna be dry. I mean, but big props to anyone who finished the race. Generally, I think the one who lost out the most was Philbin and McKiver. But they still pushed on, even though they're having a really bad race, just to put that experience behind their belt, um, so that in the future of sprint racing, they will be able to be good in night, especially in rain in the race. So, yeah, I mean, That's 43 seconds of lead time from Ryan Yee to the second place. Right now, Ryan Yee is ahead of Spangler for about, I think it's around 100 plus points in second place in the points. But yeah, Ryan Yee wants that championship out of that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on an absolute tear this season so far. He was pretty close to winning it last season. Unfortunately, wasn't able to bring it home. So, looking to make amends for this season. But yeah, solid race from him. He'll be joining us in the booth here momentarily, along with Jeff Spangler, as we get ready for a North American Red Split here at Suzuka as well. And then now we'll go, and then we'll be off for the evening and be back in 2 weeks' time at Zandvoort. But yeah, Nate, thank you for all that you do. I mean, you're really doing a great job, man, here in the booth. You've really come alive over the course of the season. I honestly, I can't wait to see how much further you can go.
Man, thank you too, man, for the acknowledgement for that. I'm really nervous still for commentating, but it's been a good experience. I've seen a lot of good battles here. I've learned a lot, especially from the people in chat, from you, from Casey, and from everyone just in commentating and just racing here in ACC and OOR. Yeah, thanks, man. I really appreciate that, and I hope to learn a lot from you in the future. So, yeah. See you, man. See you guys. See you, chat. I hope you get that like button for the NA splits. And I hope you give a shout out for the drivers you're supporting for NA Split Red. So see you, man. See you, Nick. See you guys.
All right, we'll catch you later, Nathan. But yeah, hit that like button. Let's show the entirety of the OOR why North America is probably, well, not probably, but is, you know, the better of the regions. But we're here, free practice for Red Split. Probably going to be fast forwarding into the next session of the qualifying for these guys. Riding with Patterson, though, currently sitting P3 at 2:09. So we haven't seen anybody get into that 2 minute. Ben Keogh. Oh god, it's another one of those names. I told myself I was going to write it down. I never did. We haven't seen anybody break into the 2 minute, or into the 1 minute, or the sub 2 minute barrier. Oh my god, I can't talk. But joining me in the booth, your race winner, Ryan Yee. Ryan, how you doing? How you been? Take us through that win.
Earlier in the day when I was practicing, because I remembered one of the splits from yesterday had a little bit of rain, so I was like, I'll just make sure, I got something in case it rains. And turns out, the whole race was rain. So that really worked out in my favor. So also at the start, I got really lucky because I wanted to start on dries. And then I accidentally started on wets, which turned out to be the right move as it started raining like as soon as we hit drive. So I don't know, things just worked out in my favor. And then, Ryan Walker's game crashed, unfortunately for him. But I think he would have caught me at some point too, so just got lucky.
Yeah, you pulled away at the start and never really looked back. After that first lap, we saw, and we counted, we had, I believe it was 18 drivers going into the pits, and everybody else was staying out. So we'll call your wet tire call calculated play there. But I mean, you absolutely put on a clinic for NA Blue. Your gap to P2 was, I think, more than 20 seconds. I mean, I don't know about you, but that is an absolutely insane level of skill.
Yeah, I think I looked at the end there, it was like 43 actually. But after like 20 minutes in, it was kind of just a game of keep it on the road, minimize your mistakes. So yeah, it was a great job. We'll have, I believe, Jeff Spangler joining us here in just a few minutes. He did not have the best night, unfortunately, so I'm sure that'll be a race for him to forget. And, well, if he does join us, we'll make sure to ask. But for the time being, it's on from North American Red, or North American Blue into North American Red.
Still no drivers going into 2 minutes, or into the sub 2 minute. We got Kurt Mossel, the closest one, at 2 minute 5. So we'll see if things change in qualifying. So Ryan, do you think we'll have another wet race, or do you think we're going to be sticking to the dry weather going into qualifying and the race, or do you think we'll get the same thing?
Well, so far it's sunny in this split, because in our split it was a lot of clouds in our free practice session. So I'm thinking it's probably going to be dry.
I would, maybe, excuse me, maybe we'll have to, I might agree with you on that one. A lot of drivers in the pits. It doesn't look like anybody's really moving, but we fast forward to the next session, and wouldn't you know it, there are the clouds. So it appears as though we may see the return of the rain coming later on in the day. We'll just have to wait and see, though.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think anybody in our split was happy, or in my split was happy about the rain, so hopefully some people came prepared for this one.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the track is actually wet, so these drivers, yeah, look at that, damp track conditions, and it looks like we got rain by the end of qualifying, so perhaps this is a preview of things to come. We'll have to see, though. Drivers getting out onto the track.
Actually,
though.
right now the track is damp.
Yeah, it's a little wet out, so perhaps we'll see
And
wet
rain
weather all the way through.
It's going to be medium rain in about 10 minutes. So it's going to be quite interesting. It's also pretty warm.
Yeah, a lot warmer than it was in North American Blue. It was about 7 degrees colder. And I think the track was also about the same temperature as the air. We have a slightly calmer breeze. We're looking at 5 kilometers. I believe in Blue we were up to 13, 14, 15. So we'll see how that affects the car. Obviously, this is qualifying. This is not the race. So we'll have to see drivers just getting these cars as warm as they can. I know it takes a little bit more time to get things up to speed, especially in the wet. So we got a few drivers teleporting back to the pits already, getting caught out by these wet weather conditions.
Yep, and if that weather thing is not very accurate, because as we saw in the last split, it said 10 minutes and then it came in like 2 minutes. We might be seeing our fastest quali laps like right at the start here, so we got to keep our eyes out who's going first right now.
That's our boy Ben, Black Bullet Racing, the first man out on circuit. So he'll be getting ready to start his first flying lap here. Right behind him is the McLaren of, I believe, Snell Train, if memory serves, if I'm correct in my assumptions. Let me just click around really quick. Bada bing, bada boom. It is Mr. Sam Snell Train. So we'll see how these drivers do, and the rest of the field will follow suit as we get ready to begin qualifying. A couple of yellow circles popping off there. Look at that, Snell Train getting caught out and going wide. So these wet conditions already starting to be a problem even for some of the best drivers here in the split.
I'm trying to listen because there's a huge puddle in turn 1 right in the braking zone, so maybe that's catching people out right now, but I can't tell if it's quite there right now.
Well, let me go find somebody who's getting through right now. Steve Davis. Doesn't look like there's any puddle at all from what I can tell. Maybe it is there, maybe it isn't, I don't know. But yeah, some of these, if these drivers are getting caught out by the puddle there, hopefully it doesn't stick around for much longer than it should, because, well, that's going to cause a lot of issues later on during qualifying and even during the race.
Yeah, I just went on board with somebody who's going through turn 1. They're just there, but they're pretty small. So that's still catching people out on the slicks, and we just switched to greasy as well, so we're right in that in between. Where the wets and the dries, they're both terrible.
Yeah, well, it's one or the other, but I think wet tires might be probably the better choice here. You know, the track isn't fully, or isn't even green yet. I think green is usually the time when you're getting ready to throw those slicks on. The rain will be coming down in about 10 minutes, but it's not really going to matter because by then qualifying will be over. Still no times yet being posted for qualifying, although our boy Ben here will be the first man to cross the line here at Suzuka for a legit flying lap. Everyone else getting a little bit squirrely, so he'll be setting the benchmark. You see Snell Train behind without a time, and that's going to be a 2-minute 8.8 for Ben, and looks like he might go back to the pits, maybe try to pop on a pair of slicks and see if he can gain some more time as these cars clear the track, but we'll have to wait and see. Nothing is set in stone just yet. Still waiting on people to get times in. Car 410 though, Andrew Sear will set the second fastest time at 2:10.825, so people definitely getting caught out by these wet weather conditions.
Yep, and with it being greasy, this is, I think somebody mentioned it at Brands Hatch. It's just terrible. The wets don't work, the dries don't work. Just gotta hang on and hope things will go your way.
Yeah, well, there's still about 4 minutes to go, so drivers will have more than enough opportunity to improve upon what they have. We got Geiger, though, coming in with a 2:12.227, so his lap is only the third one that will be counted. We've got car 142, that's Elliot Levine, coming through a 2:11.5, so he'll take a provisional third place. As it stands, though, we got some gaps down towards the back. The only driver currently that was going to cross the line soon on a valid lap is car 67 of, I can't tell exactly who that is. That's LePage, who will be crossing the line here very, very shortly. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. Page goes second fastest with a 2:09.02, and here comes the rain.
Well, it looks like if those laps that are currently on the board are done on dries, then those are going to be the fastest times we're going to have for this qualifying session.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Perhaps some drivers regretting the switch to slicks and getting back into the pits and saying, "All right, should probably throw on another pair of wets. Sorry car, I shouldn't have done that." But we got more times coming through, it looks like. Snell Train, though, on pole, the 2:08.6, so that's very good for him. That's about 2/10 quicker than Ben Coe. That's Coe. It's not Coe. It's something else. I can't remember. Brandon Wallet, though, 2:09.9, so it's very good for him. Andrew Sear at the moment will not improve. He does a 2:10.9, excuse me, so he will not move up. Car number 5, though, Steve Davis, the man from the land down under, has yet to set a time, and he will set a time. 9th quickest, a 2:11.6, so that's a good run from him, so he'll look to improve. But we see a multitude of cars coming out of the pits. We got cars parked all over the place. They're all getting those wet tires on, trying to get one more lap in before qualifying ends, and you can actually see half the field has yet to put a time in. So how is that gonna shake up the order here? But I do think we should welcome to the booth the man with the Star-Spangled Plangler, Jeff Spangler. Jeff, your race was definitely not one you wanted. Take us through it.
Yes, I'm a little tardy to the booth. I needed to go for a little walk after that one. Certainly frustrating, I think. Kind of sums it up. No wet practice for me this week. I thought between yesterday and today there was like one wet split. I was like, nah, it won't be us. But off track at the beginning, didn't help things. I think it could have been a lot better position if that hadn't happened. But climbed my way back up, and then I don't know if it was on stream. There wasn't a whole lot going on, so maybe. But yeah, just the back end went around on the second to last turn. So it's just awful for that to happen. I wasn't doing anything any different. Just frustrating. So sorry, Kenneth, if you're watching. I didn't mean to hit you there at the end. I don't think it meant anything anyways. 5-second penalty. So
we did notice that when you went around, we thought it might have been from someone else, but if it was a self-inflicted wound, then...
Oh yeah, totally self-inflicted, just out of nowhere, just completely out of the blue.
I mean, you're doing pretty well for most of the race. You kind of kept yourself as clean as you could, so having it all kind of crumble was definitely not on your to-do list this evening. But now you get to get out of that cold, damp car and into a nice, warm booth. So grab yourself something warm, give yourself a blanket, because we're getting done with qualifying. Sam Snelltrain, the man on pole, a 208.62. So that's very good for him. Ben it's not Keo.
Repeat after me. Keo. Can I get a Keo?
Keo. Got it. Ben Keo, second place, a 2-minute 8.8 flat, so good on him. Zach Patterson, though, 100th down. That is very close. And then Matthias LePage with a 209.09. And then it's Tim Brook to round out the top 5 with a 209.872. We have 3 drivers out on track still. Keith Briscoe, car 501, has yet to set a time. This is going to be his only attempt to try and gain something. Behind him is the 999 of Quinn Smith, also a car without a time, and Grant Klinsing. So all 3 of these drivers, this is going to be their one and only shot to make something happen. Keith Briscoe coming through 130R here. We were talking about it last race. The Mercedes struggles in sectors 1 and 2, but shines in sector 3 just because of the top end. We also talked about cars like the Porsche and the Aston doing very well in sectors 1 and 2 and struggling a bit in 3, although the Aston does gain an advantage over the Porsche into sector 3 just because of the top end of it. But Keith Briscoe coming across the line here at Suzuka goes 15th fastest, so that's very good for him. And right behind the 999 of Quinn Smith. I clicked at them. He is P14, so it's very, very good. And the last man to cross the line is going to be Grant Klinsing from Mercenary Autosport, but well, he's not going to get a chance to put a time in. That's P20, so a lot of these drivers getting caught out by these wet weather conditions and not able to post a time, unfortunately.
Oh boy. Look at that weather widget.
Oh boy, that's unfortunate. I mean, with you guys, wow. It was it was a little bit better. It was like, hey, we're gonna have some a little bit of rain at the start, and then it's just gonna rain, and then it's
gonna keep raining.
Yeah, it's gonna keep raining, and now we don't really get that luxury. It's rain and no rain, so we'll have to see how everybody sort of handles this start. I think the call might be maybe some people will try to stay out on the dry tires and then come in a bit later, or not come in a bit later, but come in after the rain stops, because it's going to depend on how quickly the track can both get wet and get dried. So I don't know, is the call to stay on the wet, or is the call to stay on the dry?
I think definitely for the start, it's the wets, because although it's might only rain for 10-20 minutes, it's also really dark, so that water's not going to go away. We don't have the sun to, evaporate the water.
Yeah, that's a good point. Track is already greasy, so it hasn't fully dried out. But I wanted to ask you, Ryan, did you start our race on wet tires? I'm guessing you did.
I accidentally did, yes, and it just worked out beautifully.
Well, your luck is in another universe compared to mine this last
Yeah.
week. But, no, I swear to God, and I think I asked in the chat. I think it must have been as the counter neared 0. I think that's when it started raining because I didn't
Yeah.
notice raindrops on my car till it was time to come off the jacks and go.
Yeah, it was like 5 seconds left on the session start. But I hit drive, and then it started raining.
Wow. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
what I
like-
thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, why don't you send some of that my way? I appreciate it.
We did notice we had one driver in the pits at the start, and now we've got 2 drivers in the pits at the start. During your guys' race, though, we had I told Ryan this already. We had 17 or 18 drivers, I believe, come into the pits to switch on to the wets, and Jeff, I'm sure that you were one of them. What was it
yes.
like diving into the pit lanes with literally everybody else?
Well, it was a little weird. It reminded me, I think 2 seasons ago now, Dave Hasser won a race. I think it was at Imola? I think it was at Wet Imola. I might be misremembering. And he gambled, started on wets, and everybody else started on dries. And he just got off to a huge lead and just ran away with it. So yeah, it kind of reminded me of that, to kind of bring the weird tangent plane in for a landing. Yeah, so many people going in the pits, and I was a little mixed up in the field because I went off on lap 1. So it definitely keeps things interesting. You know, I complain about weather a lot, but it's fun to get something unique like this because it doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see how drivers will cope with the wet weather. I think the last time I did any sort of wet racing was I think it was the same race at Imola. Just get on the wets and then kind of wait for the rain to come, and then it does while everyone else is going into the pits. You're not. You're out on the track. You're driving. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the drivers can handle these. Well, the rain, but then the lack of rain. So I think the strategy, if I had to place my bets, I would say go out onto the wets for as long as possible until you're, starting to lose pace, and then hop on the dries. Now, I don't know if Mother Nature has a trick up her sleeve, but if she doesn't, then hop on those dries and just send it for the rest of the race. But if she's feeling a little tricky, she might throw some more rain our way, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
I've been doing a bit of a tire checkup here through the first 9 cars, and unfortunately, I want to say that Sam Snelltrain's time on pole is going to be relatively short-lived. He is the only car starting this race on dries, and the weather has updated for more rain at the 10-minute mark. So looks like he will probably, I don't know, at this point you don't want to have to take an extra stop, but who knows when it will actually stop raining. If he has to go into the pits, I'm going to hope that he doesn't jam his car across the pit lane, Austin Powers style, like I've seen him do before. So we'll I had a picture of it, but I couldn't find it. I definitely would have put that in the chat this week, but we'll see how that goes. But I think it's going to be a tough start for him. Hopefully everybody can stay safe and get through lap 1.
Actually, looks to me like Sam's on the wets.
Is he?
That's what it looks like to me.
Hold on.
He's got tread on his tires. It says wet on the icon.
So I just looked at the view from the outside of his car, and I can see yellow writing, or at least I think I can. Maybe not.
I don't know.
Okay, well,
Strange.
I'm sure he'll have a great laugh. Don't listen to me, anybody.
We'll see what the pace says.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. We're
Alright, here
lights
we
out
go.
for race 1. Only one race here. Snelltrain getting an excellent start there from Ben Keogh and Patterson and LePage. So things starting to kick off here up at the front. Drivers going through 2x2, almost 3x3 in the background there through turn 1. And we see Snelltrain going a little bit slowly, and that's actually into the front end of the Honda from Patterson. Not going to be happy about that.
Tell me more. I wonder why.
I don't know. I think it might just be nerves. I mean, very unlikely for Mr. Snelltrain, you know. Very confident driver, but I don't know why he might be going a little bit slow. I wonder
It's
why.
also a question of, like, did you practice for this, you know?
That is true.
Imagine practicing. Couldn't be me. But it's not really going to matter as we see the Lexus of Keo going a bit wide there. That almost gave Snelltrain a bit of a chance to catch up, but not to be. He's keeping Patterson and LePage behind, but probably not the way he wanted to as they go through the hairpin here. Keeping it clean and tidy, though, for a lot of these drivers. A little bit better than we saw with Blue Split. We had a couple drivers going off at the start. Dornelis being one of them, having to carry it all back. So we will certainly see how the race develops. A bit of a gap forming in the bottom pack there. But for the most part, drivers doing pretty well, keeping it clean, going through Spoon here. So this is where the top end cars are really going to shine. Snelltrain and Keo and probably Patterson are going to be the cars to watch. LePage in the Porsche will not have as much of a top end as his three competitors, all of whom will actually have a bit of a slipstream off of one another as they go through 130R for the first time. It's going to be interesting to see how Snelltrain takes this one, kind of just coasts it through, goes a bit wide along with Keo, and that does give Patterson a chance to catch up, but I don't think Patterson's going to go for a move. I think he's just going to wait for Snelltrain to go into the pits if he is on slicks.
Well, it's got to be bugged for me. I'm spectating him in-game, and it says he's on dries, and his car model is showing dry tires to me, so it doesn't look like after that lap that he is, but it's weird. Very weird.
Oh, there's those puddle sketching people out.
Boy, yep.
There it is. Patterson
Absolutely.
into the back. Oh, and we got a couple other drivers almost making contact, but filing through quite nicely. So not the start Snelltrain wants. So we got another McLaren around that appears to be car 21 Sanchez. So, well, turn one claiming her first couple of victims. It's a question of, is she going to get any more this evening?
Yeah, Nunez also off at the back as well. And looks like Duarte and Jansen. I think you said somebody started from the pits. I'm not sure who it was, but we do have a couple other cars trailing the field here.
Parks in the pit, so he's stayed there for the time being, and as I say that, he does disappear. We got car 192 off. Zach Patterson, what has happened there? I don't think there's enough time to check in the replay, unfortunately, but Patterson getting caught out too, so well, things kind of going from, you know, good to bad for some of these drivers. The rain going to be decreasing in 10 minutes, and if I know anything about cars and removing water from the track and getting that dry line, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of people going into the pits to switch onto those dry tires, and we'll see if the weather will allow it for the rest of the race. But Ben Keo getting the best out of this, and he has opened up a gap to the cars behind. That being Brandon Wallet has gained the positions from the bit of a spin there we saw earlier. So we'll have to see how much that gap can go down, if any. But yeah, looking at this, gentlemen, who do you think will be the car to keep an eye on for this race?
I think our pole sitter Sam Snelltrain and Zach Patterson, who started third, if I remember correctly, they got in some incidents and is now towards the back of the field. So I think it's going to be, they're going to have a nice race and work their way up the field.
All right, Jeff, what about you? Who's your man to watch?
I think I'm going to be looking at Tim Brook. Unless the timing screen needs to be updated, sitting right up there in fourth place. You know, Tim, don't mention him a whole lot. He just kind of chugs along. You know, he's like a stealth fighter jet. You know, you don't know he's there, and then whoosh, you know, he's gone. He's right past you. Just kind of does his thing. Gets out there and gets it done. As you're actually watching him under a little bit of pressure from Hamza Golzar, who I didn't catch qualifying. I'm surprised to see him starting so far down, but seeing a couple usually fast cars struggling to even set a time. Maybe that's not so surprising.
Yeah, I don't know. The Bentley, though, very, very good in the wet. You know, they call it the boat for a reason. You know, it really adores the water. Zach Patterson, though, picking up a 10-second penalty for a collision. So that's going to put a bit of a damper on his day, although it does come before the pit stop. So, you know, better to get a penalty before than after. So whenever he decides to go into the pits, I'm sure that'll get cleared away. But Ben Keogh starting to really open up that gap, 4.1 seconds. So he's benefited from the little bit of a bump and run at the beginning, and he's been just working on opening that gap. So we'll see if he can keep it. The Lexus, I believe, is pretty good around here, if I'm not mistaken.
I think Jeff can answer that.
Well, I wouldn't know today, but
In
no,
general,
I
Jeff.
I definitely enjoy driving it around here more than any car I'd driven previously. My previous or most recent experience, I think I'd raced here twice before today. Oh gosh,
Hold on.
way
We've
off.
got,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
the Lamborghini of Wallet, it looks like,
Wallet,
going
wow.
off there.
Oh my goodness, that looked bad.
Yeah, that did not
Really
look
bad.
pretty. And
Goodness
I
me.
don't know where the button is, and I can't go back. Oh, this game. Or game, this program. It worked perfectly before, but he's limping, so I think it's safe to assume, yeah, you can just see he's taking sort of the exit road. Don't go that way, Brandon.
Service route. Oh,
Nope,
can't go that way, Bubba.
That is towards another layout here at Suzuka.
Yeah, there we go.
He's just going to take the easy way to the pits. That was quite unfortunate for him, so he's going to be in the pits for quite a while. I believe it's going to be about 3 or so minutes for him. But Hamza Gulzar, he is really starting to run down the Porsche of, it looks like, LePage, who gave up the position to Brooke. So that's very interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. A little further back, looks like Andrew Sear went a little wide, lost a couple spots. He's got Patterson on him right now, but two guys we haven't mentioned yet, but we're talking about at the tail end of qualifying. Smith and Cleansing have just sliced their way seemingly together up through this field into 8th and 9th position, respectively.
Yeah, solid drive out of those two. We'll see how things develop. Still raining at the moment, so within, I'd say, the next few minutes, we'll be seeing the track starting to dry and seeing these racing lines starting to get developed. These cars going to clear away as much as they can. It's 14 degrees, both for the air and the track. I think we saw 13 for the air and the track last split. 18-kilometer-hour winds, so a little bit quicker than last split. So we'll have to see how that affects not only the cars but the track. See if it maybe can help the drying process a bit. Quinn Smith struggling a little bit with that Lexus as Grant Klinsing starting to get a bit of a run here down the backstretch. He does have a bit of that slipstream, but I don't think it's really going to matter too much as that
If we can
gap
just
stays.
bounce up a few spots. Oh, it already happened. It's too late. Gulzar just got past LePage here. And there's a bit of a train forming behind Tim Brook. But that was a good little fight.
Take a peek.
After coming through 130R. There you go. Got him.
I think, honestly, going too wide through 130R and actually making the move stick, I think has got to be one of the most impressive things you can do, especially because it's such a fast corner. And even going through it by yourself, you know, in practice, you're trying to get the fastest time you can. You really have to be brave. You really have to understand the machinery that you're commanding. So for Gulzar, that is a very well-deserved P3, and now he's going to be looking to take Tim Brook. You know, looks at car 404, and he's looking to give him a 404 error there, and then begin the charge up onto Ben Keogh, who's been sitting very comfortably. 6.6 seconds is the gap to the Mercedes driver, and Gulzar looks like he might be going for something here, going down into Degna 1 and then into Degna 2. He had a run around the outside, but it wasn't meant to be, as he's going to be on the inside for the second corner. Is that Ben Keogh? No, that's an Audi. Thankfully, that is someone else, but not Ben, but Gulzar using the spook factor of a wiped out Audi to get the position. Look at Brooke, a little bit onto the grass, almost takes out the Bentley. And Golzar pulling away, says thank you very much, my friend. That was a very cool little drift there. We are in Japan, but unfortunately this is the wrong competition for that. Golzar looking to hunt down Keo.
I was gonna go the other side of the pond. Tim, this isn't Dukes of Hazzard, man. That looks cool, but definitely not gonna help your lap times.
Style points.
Yeah, do GT3 cars come with horns? I'm not too certain about that. Maybe we have to install that into the Mercedes.
Yeah, we got the flash button instead.
Yeah.
That's close enough.
Rob in the chat with the wowza there. And you can turn like that in some dirt rally stages. Yes, that was very dirt rally-esque. Absolutely.
Oh, there must be the new Dirt Rally 3.0. A little bit of a preview there. That was
3.0.
Yeah, that was very close though. You saw the Audi there of Jansen actually, who was off on the side of the road there. I'm wondering if that might have caught Brooke a little bit off guard, and then was a bit slower because that was after Degna 2. There really wasn't much reason for him to be going slowly unless he lifted, thinking that perhaps the Audi was going to come back onto circuit. Didn't happen though. But Golzar, he's got an 8.3 second gap to Keo, and I believe he is going to be doing everything in his power to close that gap up. It'll be the Bentley Lexus Power Hour, should things go their way. But the race starting to settle down. Drivers getting ready to do battle. We actually have a little pack forming here, and that is going to be a Honda of Patterson right as I go to him. He loses the back end. To see if we can go back about 15 and see what happened.
Oh, yep.
It's a little bit too aggressive on the brakes, looks like. These conditions, you're really balancing on the rear end of grip.
Oh my goodness, who is this Geiger taking the straight line through a couple corners? Now is off, there he is. That was interesting. I just caught the tail end of it, so we'll see what, yep, there he goes.
Boy.
And then he's like, nope,
right through.
Nope, right on through. You can go on by, whoever that is.
I mean, he's far enough off the track, it's not a problem, so I mean, there's positives and everything. Unfortunately, that's not what he wanted, so he'll drop from 11th to 15th. So he goes a bit wide there through the hairpin. And that'll give Snelltrain down in 12th, so he's starting to get his climb back up through the ranks here, trying to recover what he can from that lap 1 incident.
Looking at lap times, Quinn Smith in 6th place with our fastest lap currently, a 15.262, I believe. Taking a look at Keo, he's definitely not up to that sort of pace, and Hamza Golzar with 17.1 as his best lap so far. And never mind, as I say that, Ben, Keo taking the fastest lap, so, you know, I'm like 0 for 10 tonight, guys. I'm sorry.
You just cut your losses here, Jeff. You know, it's okay. You know, we all have our off days. It happens. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting night, I think, for pretty much everybody here. Not just in red split, but blue split. It is still raining though, so perhaps in the next few minutes we'll see the skies starting to clear, and then we'll see just how quickly these cars can get the circuit cleared of water, and if and when they go onto those slicks.
Yeah, we're on board here with Quinn Smith. Started P14 and has made his way up into P5 right now and is looking at the tail of P4.
Yeah, excellent
Great
start
drive
from
him so far.
Absolutely. See if he can pick up anything else. A lot of drivers getting settled in. Ben Keo really just starting to stretch his legs out. 8.9 to Golzar, so he is absolutely just thrown that gap wide open. A lot of these drivers getting settled in to their positions. Some drivers looking to potentially go for a move. Kurt Moss right behind. Chris Stevens almost goes into the back of him there, into the hairpin. Thankfully the brakes on that Aston very, very good. Did not want to damage the rear end of that Lamborghini, so he's got to worry about that, but he's also got to worry about Mr. Snell Train, who was not happy after lap 1. He's going to be looking to recover as much as he can. Kurt Moss, though, with a bit of a slipstream, goes wide onto the grass. He can save it into Spoon, and it looks like that might actually play to his advantage, as he's going to be down the inside here of Stevens. Now, the question is, will that turbo lag play a part here as they go down the back stretch? You can see Snell Train in the background. We've got door-to-door racing here, or just about door-to-door racing. Kurt on the inside, Stevens on the outside, Snell Train just behind as we go through 130-yard door-to-door here between the two drivers. Who's going to be braver? And it's going to be Moss getting a bit loose, grabbing the side of the Lamborghini, almost taking out Snell Train. He's going to lose even more positions.
Yeah, I think a bit of a sketchy exit coming out of Spoon there kind of doomed him for the overtake. You know, we'd love to see some door-to-door action, but it's unfortunate when it shakes out that way for one guy. And I think Steven's definitely lucky to avoid catastrophe there. Speaking of catastrophe, oh my gosh, you aren't supposed to drive that way, buddy.
What? I don't know what happened there. I just saw the yellow dot, so unfortunately I was not quick enough. But
the Merc is already handicapped with ballast. You don't need to drive it backwards.
no, it's called making it interesting. Come on, man.
Oh man, wow. Wonder how that happened. Wow.
Oh. Saw the car off at turn 1, almost got collected. A grand cleansing.
Looks like the 142 Levine. Oh
like
my
just
goodness.
getting loose. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
he get collected.
Okay,
Uh-oh.
yep.
That ain't good.
Oh, no, that was.
That's harsh.
I'm sorry. That was Levine that drove past right there. That got bumped. Was that Sanchez? Yep, Sanchez.
Well, it looks like for now the rain has stopped falling, but we will get some more towards the end of the race.
All right, Mother Nature doesn't care
Boy.
then. I guess I was right. But now, here's the thing though. The track's still wet. It's nighttime. It's cloudy. It is 14 Celsius. I don't know what that is in incorrect units. How quickly, if at all, will these cars be able to clear the water? Is it going to be beneficial to just stay on the wet tires and change onto another pair? Or, I don't know. I mean, obviously staying on what's going to be the case there, 30 minutes out. You know, we're going to be at 12 minutes at that point. But I don't know. I mean, maybe just stick on to the wets and pray that we can't, you know, clear the water that quick.
Yeah, I think Ryan's point about it being nighttime and us not having that friendly sun out to help dry out the track is definitely going to come into play here. But I think the other thing with the weather widget, and you guys, again, tell me if I'm wrong. I've been wrong a lot tonight. It only shows us these moments in time, right? So it could start raining between now, 10 minutes from now and 30 minutes from now, right? It doesn't mean that suddenly we know the rain is at least 30 minutes out. I don't think.
That's a good point, actually. I'm not too sure on that one. I think if it was within like the 10 to 20 minutes that or 10 to 30 minutes you're talking about, we would have seen it say it's going to rain in 30 minutes, 10 minutes ago, kind of thing.
Well, I'm just picturing, if we had a weather widget for every minute of the track that we can't see, right? That rain could be, maybe 20 minutes from now, perhaps, and it just didn't show on the widget. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
The reason why I say that is because I've thought of it the other way, like, oh, right, and that's how I was thinking at the beginning of our race, like, oh no, I didn't see rain before 10 minutes, meaning it's not going to rain between now and then literally as we come off the jacks, boom, it's raining. So
yeah,
kind of caught me out. I'm sure I wasn't the only one.
You were one of many, Jeff. I'll tell you that for a fact. But I think everybody made the right call here with the wets. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. Quinn Smith almost got a bit of a move on Brooke, but sort of made the same mistake there. So he'll be looking to take down that Mercedes. But the top end of the 404 car going to be coming into play here down this back stretch. This is the one area where if you're sort of struggling through 1 and 2, like the Mercedes does, a little understeery compared to everything else, you can definitely pick up time going through 130R. We see him going wide there. And it's Quinn Smith actually getting an excellent run there down the inside, but not close enough for a move. No, almost. I think they were both a little hesitant with each other. I feel like if Smith might have gotten off the brakes a little bit, he could have had the move down the inside, but better safe than sorry. So for the time being, Quinn Smith starting to show his hand, starting to show that he is not a driver to be disregarded.
Tommy Kogan in the chat, trolling, dry and it's gonna rain again. Yes, you love to see it. Disagree.
Tommy Kogan would never troll. What are you talking about? He's not a troll. He's a genuine guy, you know?
All right. Well, Weatherman Peach in the chat. Weather widget means that weather condition will happen sometime in that time frame, not at the end. So does that mean I'm right? That's all I need to know, Peach. So just let me know. We also have a request from Damien Thurk. Can you go in car with Snell Train? So this is request hour. Can we give the man what he wants?
Absolutely. I don't know what view he wants. We can give him this one. I've got this is onboard 0, onboard 1, onboard 2, onboard 3, but onboard 3 is kind of useless. You can see the Ferris wheel. You know what? I like that Ferris wheel. But yeah, here it is.
Pretty cool at night.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a lot of tracks have some really cool attractions at night that we just don't get to see because of how often we're driving in the day. But yeah, there you go. If this is the view you want, my man, there you go. If you want the hood cam, I can give you that as well.
You can see the track drying off a little bit, and in fact, the weather widget keeps changing. It looks like it's going to clear off now. Not that we can see the sun or anything, but definitely drying up a little bit. The rain has stopped for now, so we're going to be seeing a lot of toasty rubber here.
I think it's just telling us that the sun is still it still exists. You know, you can't see it, but it's still there. So that's probably what it means. You know, if it was the moon, you'd be like, all right, well, yeah, you know, it's nighttime. But I think it's just reminding us that, hey, you know what? Listen, sun's not here. We can't see it, but it's still around, so we're good. But yeah, Snell Train doing very well for himself, up to P8. So excellent recover drive. Ben Keogh picking up fastest lap. That is a 2:13.015, so very, very good from him. That is, I believe, the only time. We have a 2:12 for Golzar, but it was oh, there it is. Never mind. Right as I said it, it updates. So Golzar 0.6 faster on his best than Ben Keogh, so he's beginning that charge up. The gap has been closing. It was, what, 9 seconds about 10 15 minutes ago. It's now 6. Golzar is now on a mission to show...
Oh my gosh, hate to interrupt you. I just went to Briscoe and he is off on the main straight, rejoined, and just got T-boned by someone. Here it goes.
Here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh jeez.
Wow.
That is the that looks like the Honda of Geiger,
yeah.
Maybe? I think that might have been Geiger. Let's take a peek. Yeah, that's Geiger getting the absolute worst of that, and I think Briscoe's night is over and done with.
Yeah, the antithesis of caution. But then again, you know, you got to trust your drivers, trust your fellow drivers. He was trusting that Briscoe would not make that move, and unfortunately he was proved wrong. I think Damien is wanting some close on the track, like in-car action, like some battles going on. So let's see if maybe we can find something close, and I think he wants to see something through 130R, so we'll keep an eye out. Maybe we can accommodate that.
999 of Quinn Smith here. I gotta say, you know, honestly, Lexus McLaren engines are some of the best sounding ones in this game. I mean, it's so, like, it's calculated, but it's aggressive, and I love it. Through 130R, though, you got Tim Brook in the background there, trying to catch the Lexus here, but not close enough, not quite yet. We'll see if that can get pulled in a little bit as the race goes on. Close battle though. 410. Andrew Sear with Eduardo Sanchez right behind. Now this is going on to the backstretch. The Porsche does not have the best top end. I do not know if the Audi as well is, I actually just realized that's Jansen. Never mind. That's not a battle. That's just the showcase of, hey, Porsche no top end XD. All right, I am a smart man. I definitely have brain. Yes.
It's okay. We got to watch an Audi make it successfully through 130R, so.
Oh, dude,
everybody
come
wins.
on. You can't do the man dirty like that. Oh, it's BM, but I love it. All right. Anyways, back on to everything. Matthias LePage, though, giving us a nice little view out the rear towards Pace and Davis. LePage does have a 5-second penalty. That is for a collision on lap 5. So thankfully it is only 5 seconds. We got some drivers with 10-second. Patterson, for example, has a 10-second penalty. Eduardo Sanchez, lap 8, an unsafe rejoin will give him a 10-second penalty. Keith Briscoe, well, he's got a 15-second, but unfortunately he's not here, so that's more of just a formality. But yeah, these drivers starting to put on a show. 142 is off. That is Elliot Levine. Let's see if we can see what happened there. Oh, look at that. Just the back end stepping out. We've talked about it. That, oh, and he gets rear-ended by the Bentley of, I believe that's Casey Gold. So that first corner catching people out. And it will probably not be the only time that we see this.
Something important to note too, it stopped raining for 10-15 minutes maybe, a little bit more, and it's still wet. The game's still reporting the track as wet, which means this water is not going away. As well at the on the weather app, it's no longer raining at the end of the race.
Oh, it looks like.
Yeah, so I think that means, yeah, we'll get some rain here between now and the next 30 minutes, between now and the end of the race.
Possibly.
Goals are definitely making some inroads towards catching Ben Keogh, only 3.2 down with a comfortably, I believe at least for now, fastest lap of the race.
Yep, you can see Keogh right there in the background of the shot there. There he goes around the last part of this, or the second to last part of these S's. Patterson, though, picking up fastest lap. That is a 2:11.8. So, you know, I'm wondering if these drivers will start going on to dries later on in the race. I'm sure that these weather conditions have certainly changed up a lot of the strategies that these cars are going to be running as we get towards the end here. Nobody's pitted yet. Jansen obviously into the pits, but that's more damages. Grant Klinzing, the first driver to hop into the pits. Do we think that perhaps he's going to gamble on everyone else being able to clear the track for him, so by the time that they get around to doing their pit stops, he can pick up some positions, or do we think this might be for naught?
I think he just didn't take enough fuel, so maybe he's going to go back out on wets.
Have to see. Have to see. Ben Keogh, though, doing as much as he can to keep the charging Gulzar from overtaking. It's about 3 seconds here going through 130R. It's down a 10th, though, so I think Ben Keogh might be starting to get a little bit nervous. He noticed that the gap to Gulzar was about 10 seconds, maybe 20 minutes ago. It has just shrunk more and more as these laps have gone on. We could see Gulzar going for a move here soon as Keogh gets a little bit loose.
Yeah, a little further back, Steve Davis losing out to Snelltrain and Patterson, who have moved up to 7th and 8th. Of course, Patterson with a 10-second penalty. But if it's any consolation, currently fastest lap of the race, so he can hang his hat on that one for the time being.
I believe he'll pick up, is it an extra point for fastest lap?
Extra 3, I believe.
Ooh, extra 3, even better. So that'll be nice for him to pick up. That is pace into the pits for his hopefully first and only stop. So it looks like within the next little while we should be seeing everyone starting to change sets, maybe change onto some wets, or maybe even some brave enough or crazy enough to go on to dries.
Yeah, Grant Cleansing the game's telling me he's on dries, and it certainly looks like it. He's struggling quite a bit right now.
It's all part of the plan. If he was in a Ferrari, or not a Ferrari, an Alpine, if this was GT4 racing, it could be L plan. But we'll have to wait and see how that plays out.
Yeah, it's easy for us sitting here, you know, watching these guys drive and watching the weather widget. It's entirely possible that he missed that bit of rain that I think we're going to get between now and the end of the race. So, you know, if you're looking at the widget, you're thinking, oh yeah, it's sunshine and rainbows, you know. It's going to be dry, but I don't think it's going to work out that way for him.
Have to see. The track's still wet. Drivers doing what they can to clear the water from this track. A lot of standing water, so thankfully there's nothing more coming down from up above, although we'll have to see how things play out, see when everybody gets into the pits. I believe Sanchez also picked up a 10-second penalty. I don't know what that was for, unless that was already in there. Oh, that was already in there. Okay, I was just seeing things again. I'm a little bit slow there. The gap, though, from Keo to Gulzar, 2.5 seconds. Gulzar wasting absolutely no time. I think if Ben goes into the pits, he's going to follow. I don't think there's any other strategy, because I don't know if an undercut might be the way to go, as Ben Keo getting around some traffic here. So he's going to pray that the Mercedes of Klinsing can cause a few problems for the Bentley driver.
Yeah, maybe now's a good time. We can go a little bit on board of cleansing. We can see how much he's having to work the car just to keep it on the track. So he goes wide even.
Almost loses it. You're right. He's struggling with that car right now.
Yeah. And just to repeat, these are the dry tires he's on.
This is like the personification of the old South Park "you're not going to have a good time" meme here.
Oh, yeah. And you can even hear it coming out of some of these corners. You can just hear the car struggling. You can hear the tires just sort of... Yeah, you can hear it right there. He's struggling for grip. And he's just almost losing that Mercedes it seems like out of every single corner. So I don't know if dries were the call, but maybe he's really doing some long con super galaxy brain level of a gamble. I'll have to see how that plays out in the coming laps, though, as the helicopter forgets where he is. Zach Patterson into the pits, though. Quinn Smith with fastest lap. That is a 2:11.5 dead, so looks like points getting tossed around, perhaps, as these drivers get around this track and start drying it and get through their pit stops. Maybe we'll see a new fastest lap, but for the time being, Quinn Smith gonna hold it.
Yep, pretty curious to see when the top 10 now is going to take their pit stops. Might just be a question of who took how much fuel.
I mean, in an hour-long race, do you just fill all the way up and then just get tires, or... Well, I guess it doesn't really matter because you do both tires and fuel at the same time, but I don't know, maybe you run a bit over so you can just, you only have to worry about getting to the end, or maybe you run a bit under so you can try to gain more time as you use up fuel, but then if you miscalculate, things go a bit wrong, and as you can see, that is Mr. Klinsing going off, so those dry tires, definitely not the call.
Looks like he's parking it too.
Oh yes, that is unfortunate. Yep. Yeah, he's gone.
Disconnected.
Time to fire the team principal there, man. Damn.
It'll be a shame to see Grant Klinsing leave then. But yeah, no, definitely not the night he's wanted. We saw some of the drivers from Blue Split disconnect as well. I think we saw it in EU, so it's kind of all over the place.
I think it'll be interesting to see. These guys are waiting so long, hoping that it's going to dry up. I'm convinced there's going to be some more rain. I'm afraid these guys are going to be forced to play their hands and go on dries, in which case grab the popcorn because it's going to be a while into the race.
Hoping the widget has switched rain within 10 minutes now.
There it is.
Oh boy.
So I don't
Okay.
remember if we pointed this out, but Patterson has a drive-through now. So I'm not sure what that's about. But he has taken his pit stop, so maybe that's a speeding in the pits incident, which will be replaced with, I think it's 10 seconds it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I believe once the stewards get around to changing that over, it will be a 10-second for him. Have to see, though. It is Ben Keogh into the pits. So that's not Ben. That's Ben. So it looks like Ben might be going for a bit of an undercut here as Gulzar pulls away. I will be interested to see if this is the right call. We will have more rain, so perhaps Ben just trying to get a fresh set of wets on and going from there. Quinn Smith, though, retaking fastest lap away from Moss. That is a 2:10.9, so he's the first person to get into the 2:10s, albeit barely. So we'll see if any more time does come down as this race carries on. Snell Train also into the pits. P7 for him. He's had a pretty good drive here after that start.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the fastest laps going around like a hot potato right now. This probably will benefit Gulzar, until it starts raining. That track is only getting drier since it's, excuse me, since it's not raining. So I'm thinking he's probably going to be able to pick up some time on Keogh in the pits here. It just depends on when it actually starts raining again.
That's true. It's also if Keogh decides to go on to dries. If he does, will he be kicking himself? But I think he saw the widget before he went in, so perhaps he just stays on wet tires and just sort of gambles from there on out. But yeah, we see.
Yeah, it looks like he is on wets.
All right, so yeah, it looks like he's gambling with the rain bringing just enough water to keep those tires at temperature. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 drivers yet to go into the pits. Gulzar being one of them, the man currently in the lead. Quinn Smith also hasn't pitted. Same with Tim Brook and Davis and Moss. So your entire top 5 currently out on the track. So we'll see if Gulzar goes into the pits here. A little bit of traffic here, but it's not going to be an issue, and he almost goes into the back there of, I believe that is an Aston Martin. That is Pace going into the pits. Perhaps Pace made the wrong call, went onto the dries when he should be on the wets, but we'll have to see. Into the pits as well is going to be Quinn Smith, so he's going to try to match Gulzar, and then you look back to Tim Brook going through the final chicane right now. Third place for the Mercedes team. He will also be going into the pits. Steve Davis, Mercedes driver as well, is going to stay out, and Kurt Moss, the driver from Jamaica, is going to dive into the pits. So the question is, where is Ben Keogh? He is going down the back stretch right now, so will he be able to get out in front of Gulzar, or will he be stuck behind? I think Gulzar might be Gulzar might be a little too late, so he's going to probably lose this position.
Yeah, it's a little hard to see from heli cam, but I think the car in front of Gulzar into the pits was going a little bit, probably a little slow for Gulzar's liking, as Keogh is just about to cross the start-finish line here. It looks like he is in fact going to keep this. Yes, there goes Ben.
Great job for him. So he'll be keeping that P1 as we see Davis, though, far up the road. He's sitting pretty right now in first, but he will be losing that first place at his pit stop. The widget updating, so we do have rain within the next 10 minutes and then tapering off after that, but I think the call is to stay on these wet tires. Mother Nature keeping us guessing.
Yeah, but the track condition has never moved off of wet since the race start, basically, so all that water just hasn't gone anywhere.
I think the mix of low temperatures and nighttime has really played a role into this. Perhaps the wind, even, you could say, pushing some water from the grass onto the circuit. So yeah, it looks like people are going to be sticking on the wets. We got Sear into the pits along with Stevens, so probably putting on a fresh set of wet tires. And it's only Nunez and Gold and Davis that have yet to pit, although I would not be too surprised if Davis came in on this lap. And actually, the rain's going to pick up, so Mother Nature is just trolling us right now. She doesn't want us to know what she's doing, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm riding along with Keo here, and there's definitely a drier line, I will say. It's not a dry line. Visible on the track with some reflection. You can see the reflections coming off of standing water there on the outsides of the track a little bit. But yeah, this is the kind of wet track you want to be driving in, one that's drying off and not throwing a bunch of water in your face anymore.
Yeah, but the rain will return again in just the next 10 or so minutes. So going through the front stretch here, we see Ben Keogh getting ready to start another lap. Steve Davis in the pits, and he is going to lose that position. Hamza Gulzar as well going to pick up a position 2 seconds back from Ben Keogh. We saw how close he was getting before they went into the pits, so I don't think it's out of the question if Gulzar somehow gets around Keogh in the next few laps or so. He has been on an absolute tear. Keogh's last lap was a 1:11.8, and Gulzar's was a 2:19.7, but I think that's more due to the pit stop he had. So we'll have to see what things look like as they cross the line once more, but just keep an eye on that gap, 1.9 seconds. We'll see if that does come down as this race goes on. We're within the final 20 minutes, so drivers either just doing a little bit of hot lapping or looking to line up a move here in the closing stages of this race.
Yeah, having cycled through, well, almost everybody cycled through their pit stops. Doesn't look to be a ton of close action on the track right now. LePage a little less than a second behind Tim Brook there, looks to be perhaps the closest.
It appears so.
Oh, sorry, he was behind Davis, and now he's around Davis. Okay, we missed that.
Throw me for a loop. Okay. Yep, we got LePage there. You got Brook in front, Davis behind, so a bit of a Mercedes sandwich. Going through the hairpin, so I think it will be something to note is the top end of the Porsche, not the best. Compared to the Mercedes, it definitely is lacking. I think compared to pretty much a good chunk of the available cars here in GT3, I think it does struggle. So going through Spoon here, we will see just how much Davis can pick up. We'll actually ride on board, see if we can get a good view. So he is currently about 7/10 down on LePage. That little I think that's one of the little decals, or it might be the little number card on the window, blocking a bit of the view, but you can see him actually starting to catch up a bit to LePage down the back straight. If I actually go on to this camera, there we go, that's a much better view. So he has definitely gained some time on LePage, but LePage kind of benefiting from, I think Brook might have had a bit of a wiggle through 130 yards. Been catching out a lot of people tonight, especially some of the top drivers in these splits. So we'll have to see. Casey Gold and Nunez still haven't served their pit stops, so we'll see when they come in. But as it stands, the gap now through 1.3 from Gulzar to Keogh, as we see the Lamborghini of who was that? Stevens going across the bridge there. Look at how close Gulzar is.
Yep, Gulzar's got quite a bit of pace right now, so it's going to be quite an interesting battle to see how the Lexus top end can rival the Bentley's agility right now.
You know, while we're talking about the Bentley, everybody's always obsessed with BOP and recreating what is supposed to be, characteristics of the car in real life. And every time I see the Bentley in, one of these GT World Challenge races, they're always talking about how it has the best top end. And they show the speed traps on the broadcast, and it's Bentley, 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 But that's definitely not the case in this game. That's something, having driven the Bentley a decent amount, that has always kind of mystified me. I don't really understand why it is the way it is.
It is certainly interesting. I'm sure Kunos will get around to fixing that in the next update, whenever that comes out. But Gulzar definitely showing us that the Bentley is a force to be reckoned with. 8/10ths down on Ben Keogh. He was right on the bumper there going through the chicane, so it will be interesting as we get within that 15-minute window here in the race. The rain coming down, but then leaving in the next 10 or so minutes, but it'll be a question of whether or not it keeps coming down. It's not like these cars have been able to clear the track that much this evening, unfortunately. But yeah, it is interesting to see, how close some of these cars are to their real-life counterparts. And then you have the Bentley, which is almost just kind of left behind, like an afterthought.
I think something to note too, we've talked about the Porsche's top end being really low. I think in real life it's pretty average. So
Yeah, that too.
yeah.
And I realize it's a game, cars need to be in certain archetypes in order to make things interesting, and make people pick different cars to play in the game. So just to keep things fresh. I get it. It is a game after all, imitating real life, and it does a pretty good job of it, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. It is interesting. I'm sure Kudos is doing all they can, because I feel like in some scenarios, if you get the car a little too close to real life, I feel like some drivers will be able to find a way to really, exaggerate how good the car is, and that's when you have people complaining, oh, this car is too good, and this car is, it's this and that, and it doesn't run like this in real life. It's like, well, dude, we're trying our hardest. But yeah, we see here, coming onto the back stretch though, Hamza Gulzar, the big old Bentley, really showing her face there out the rear view of the Lexus. Going through 130R, both of them getting it about the same, so that gap now below half a second. Gulzar is not messing around. He wants to get around Keogh as soon as he can and open up a gap. He has been on a charge this night.
Yeah, glancing over to the chat, your mention of Porsche has all the pork simps up in arms, man. Porsche needs BOP to be quicker. Porsche's too slow.
I mean, hey, I gave you one of my sets. You couldn't even drive it.
Better be careful there, Jeff.
Peach chiming in, it's not a game, it's a sim. With a couple laugh faces there.
We gotta be correct.
sorry guys, time to get real serious. Sim.
Actually, it's a simulator, not a see you later. But Gulzar looking to say see you later to Keogh, though. He's incredibly close. I know the scoring pylon says half a second, but it's looking more like 3/10 as it's going to be Keogh going wide, and that's going to give Gulzar down the inside into Degna 2. And Gulzar, after reeling in the Lexus for so many laps, has finally gotten around, but Ben Keogh not ready to give up just yet. Into the hairpin we go. It's going to be very close here. The Lexus going to be using the slipstream of the Bentley, probably one of the biggest cars you could drive in this game. You can really see the rain pouring here onto these cars coming down towards Spoon, so we'll have to see if Gulzar can pull away from the Lexus onto the brakes, down a couple of gears through this almost this double apex. This is the turn that just seems to go on forever on this track. Onto the back stretch, Ben a little bit loose there, you see it. And Gulzar starting to pull away from the Lexus, so this has been very good for him. What a race for the last season's champion.
Yep, he started P10 if I remember correctly, so that's 9 positions he's made up. So we see Ben Keogh going a little bit wide on the brakes, which means he's going to lose even more time.
is doing so well. The gap now, it's just increasing. 1.7, 1.8, 1.92 seconds. Golzar, the man who is not to be messed with. If you are in his way, he's going to get around you. And it doesn't matter how hard you defend. He's got your number. He knows your playbook. And he's about to throw the book at you. 9.5 minutes to go here at Suzuka. Golzar trying to just get this gap up, and he's doing a very good job. Ben Keogh trying to do what he can to reel in the Canadian. But I don't know if it's going to be enough here.
I have something else to note now. Quinn Smith, fastest lap, last lap of 2-minute 10.1. We could see him on the bumper of Keogh towards the end of this race.
Potentially, the last lap of Keogh was a 2:13.4. Now that was due to losing the car a little bit, so I don't think that's indicative of his total lap time. But yeah, the 2:10.1. I mean, that is a very quick time out of Quinn Smith. So yeah, we could see another position lost for Keogh. Although the 999 is coming up to the hairpin now, so he's got to get through the 21 car of Eduardo Sanchez. So it'll be interesting to see, especially in the last 8.5 minutes, if there's enough road per se for Quinn Smith to overtake Ben Keogh and potentially get second position. But I don't know. I think it's going to be close. He does get around the back marker, so now that he's in clean air, I think Quinn Smith is going to be on that charge up to the front, as we got a little bit of a battle here, or not a battle, but yeah, keeping a little bit of pressure on Stevens. Andrew Sear doing what he can to try to get around this Lamborghini. This is for P11, so we could see another position change here, and I believe outside of that, it's pretty quiet across the board, although car number 5, Steve Davis, with the Aston Martin of Moss behind him, so he's got to worry about that, and I believe up in front of them is a back marker. I can't tell quite who that is. It is an Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's Levine and Jansen, and they are battling for position, so this could be interesting.
But there he goes.
Okay, never
almost
mind.
takes him out.
Pulling off to the side of the road.
Almost gets taken out there by Davis, currently running P5.
Yeah, I was on board with Levine. Did Davis almost hit him? That was a bit of a sudden move there. Not what you usually want to be doing when letting faster cars by. You always want to be predictable, and parking it on the line coming into the braking zone is definitely not in the playbook. Or at least it shouldn't be.
No, definitely not.
Looks like, though, that Jansen let the other two guys around him as well, so they are back to battling.
Well, good on him. It doesn't matter where you're looking. There's a battle happening somewhere. We do see Golzar. He's about 1.5-ish, almost 2 seconds. So, yeah, he's starting to get that gap going again. Yeah, it's really going above 2 seconds. So, Golzar wasting no time at all. The gap from Ben Keogh to Quinn Smith is looks to be about 6 or so seconds. So, that is going down a bit for him, although it looks like it is going back up unless the broadcast controller is having a bit of a fit. It does kind of happen sometimes, but I don't know, maybe within the next couple of laps there may be a chance for a lunge, but I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see.
Yep, that gap's now closer to 5 seconds according to the delta given to us by the game.
We'll see. Kurt Moss, though, riding on board with him in the passenger seat as they actually come up to a back marker. I believe that is LePage blocking the path. Or no, that isn't. I think that's George Nunez, excuse me. Car 117 having to make way for the battling pair here. Heading down into 130R, we see Kurt Moss, a bit of a tighter line through there, so that's actually going to give him a bit of a run up onto Davis here into the chicane. Not close enough for a move quite yet, but certainly close enough to put some pressure on the Mercedes there. as they go around the final corner once more to start lap 24 here at Suzuka. That slipstream not doing too much. You can just see how fast this Mercedes is in a straight line. And as I say, that Kurt Moss getting an excellent amount of speed, but not close enough. Very nearly had enough room to work with. And tried to go down the inside, and it's not going to be what he needs, although he is going to try his best. He knows this Mercedes is very sluggish through these first 2 sectors. This is exactly what the Aston Martin shines with, these, you know, sort of slower corners as they go through the S's, going towards the final one, the final left-hand turn. So I think Kurt Moss might be looking for a bit of a move here in the coming corners. If not, then within the next lap or so. You saw how close he got towards the end of that front straight, that slipstream really giving what he wanted, but not quite. Davis going wide there into Degna 1. Degna 2 is going to be a bit cleaner, so Steve Davis starting to feel the pressure.
Yeah, just real quick here, and all credit to Peach in the chat for pointing this out, but looking at the timing screen, does anything look a little funny to you guys? Anything stick out?
Maybe an orange banner with a 1 in front of it.
Yeah. Casey Gold has yet to pit.
Someone go tell him. Someone hop in and be in chat.
Yeah, I'll knock on the window and say, hey, buddy. Yeah, we were told this is the Bender strat in the AP region. So pit on the last lap, or almost the last lap. We'll see what happens.
See
Steve Davis missing an upshift.
Kurt Moss.
Door to
door. Okay, you're playing a little bit of safe though, but the switchback for Kurt Moss is gonna pay off.
Got him.
Steve Davis felt the pressure, got nervous, missed an upshift, missed a break point, went wide. It's Davis, or not Davis, it's Moss up into that P5. So that's very good for him. Davis now having to get around that. Gulzar though, man in the lead, keeping that lead at about 2 seconds. Quinn Smith about 5 back, so he has not made as much of an impact as we thought. So this could be Ben Keogh keeping that P2 lest something happens, but I'm not Jeff. I don't curse people.
I don't either. I just speak things into existence. Hey, I'm not ready to let Casey Gold go here. I know most of the pit boxes on this track are behind the starting line. Can he pit and then just drive across this finish line through the pit lane? Is that allowed?
I mean, if it technically counts as finishing as pit, then sure. But then the question is, where is his pit box? Because if it's too far up,
yeah, right.
Then he just...
I'm speculating here. I mean, Casey Gold might be a genius. I know him a little bit. I don't know if he's a genius, but we'll see. That would be awesome.
He's got Bender in his ear, just telling him, he's like, all right, listen, here's what you do, right? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay out. Last lap, you're gonna go into the pits because your box is far enough back, so you can get your pit, and then you can just waltz over the line like nothing happened.
All right. Everybody in the chat shooting me down here. It's fine. I've had a terrible day. It's not allowed, so.
It's all right, Jeff.
You have to leave. Oh, I guess now that I think about it, yeah, you have to gotta leave the pit lane for that to count. Man, he's really cutting it close here.
Yep.
Just over a minute left.
Yep, we got
Here
Gulzar
on the final lap.
Final lap for Gulzar. Gulzar doing an amazing job though of picking up places he at the start and just throughout this race. Was behind Keogh for quite some time and eventually got around him. So that's looking very good for the Canadian driver, car number 1 champion from last season. We'll see just how much is Levine and Nunez getting a little bit spicy there. We saw Nunez, no camera over there, there you go. Nunez looking like maybe a little bit of over defense there, pulled off to the left side and then pulling back out to the right with Levine. So that'll be interesting to see how the stewards look at that. We got Jansen right behind, but he does have a 10-second penalty, so Jansen will be have to be contempt with that P16 or P17 tonight. Casey Gold, where is he? Casey Gold going down backstretch through 130R. So we'll see if there's enough time. I don't think there's enough time. I think it's over. Or no, he's gonna have one more lap, so he's all set. So If he knows the
Come
stuff,
on, Casey.
you can do it, buddy. This is
Alright.
like the simplest
turn,
mechanic
right
in the
turn.
game. Oh, it is a right turn.
Hey!
He's doing the bender strat. All right.
Yes.
I mean, better late than never, I guess.
Yeah,
But what
I think
happens?
so.
Hold on. What happens if okay, hypothetically.
Yeah.
Right. Let's say Gulzar comes across the line. What
He
happens
still has
then?
to do his extra lap. It doesn't matter that Gulzar's finished the race.
Oh,
He
really?
can't finish the race before Gulzar, yeah. Well, you're saying Gulzar passes him and then... Yeah, I mean, as it was pointed out... Oh, okay, here we go. Now somebody in chat, haters gonna hate, saying unless the leader passes him while he's in the pit, it won't count. Well, we're gonna find out, guys. So,
Well, it looks like the leader is going to pass him. He's coming out of the triangle.
Yep. There's Hamza Gulzar, the man who started kind of far down on the grid, made his way all the way back, was getting close to Keo for a while, passes Gold, almost crashes, but it's Gulzar on top tonight. Keo in a comfortable P2. Quinn Smith getting another Lexus there on the podium. Sam Snelltrain, who had a terrible start actually and fell way
Casey
down
Gold
the
is on the
grid.
move.
Casey Gold on the move. Does it count?
Casey Gold on the move.
Oh,
Let's
the
find it.
orange one is gone already. He hasn't even left the
Yeah.
pit lane.
Yes!
Yes, it
Casey
counts.
Gold. Yes!
That is the dumbest thing I've ever
Let's
seen.
go!
Wow, what a
Yeah.
great game. There's Sam Snelltrain. He's celebrating by throwing his
Oh my
McLaren into a
gosh.
scrapyard. Kurt Moss, though, excellent evening from him. Makes it P5 on the grid. Steve Davis losing out, makes it P6. Matthias LePage, the next driver, who's going to be crossing the line here, P7, but +5 onto his time. Patterson, though, way back, so he won't have to worry about anything. It's Sanchez across the line for P14. You see Zach Patterson, P8. Tim Brook, he is just going through the chicane now. Pace not found, but pace enough for a P9, so it's very good on his part. He'll be rounding that final corner and getting onto the front stretch one more time. Casey Gold still out for a little victory lap, if you will. And then
Absolutely.
Chris Stevens with Andrew Sear, who was behind him for quite a while. It's going to be Stevens, though, picking up a P10 here, unless... oh, never mind. I was going to say unless, Sear goes for some almighty, ungodly send. But it doesn't look like it. Chris Stevens, P10. Andrew Sear, P9, or P11, flashing the headlights saying, hey, GG, man. But that is going to be it for North America Red Split. Quinn Smith keeping that fastest lap at a 2:08.697. So an excellent evening from him. But yeah, that's gonna do it for North America Red. We look towards the standings here in the race. It's Gulzar on top of the grid in P1, Ben Keogh in P2. This game can stop putting me on a different screen. Thank you. Quinn Smith P3. For the Pro-Am category, it is Steve Davis, Matthias LePage, and Chris Pace. For Pro-Am, for amateur class, it is Casey Gold and Nunez. And then silver is going to be Parks and the safety car. I'm surprised that the safety car isn't first. But gentlemen, that is going to do it for us tonight here at Suzuka.
Yeah, chat going crazy. Rob's saying Casey's playing 69-dimension chess. Everyone else is, needs to catch up.
Dude, it's big brain plays you don't understand.
Absolutely. Yeah, some good action tonight. Definitely not your typical weather, but it's good to see things mixed up every once in a while. Almost find it impossible to believe that it rained for almost the entirety of both North American splits, but that's part of the fun. Sometimes you get thrown a curveball and you have to adapt.
I agree. So we will not be here next week. It'll be a week off for all the drivers. Get a little bit of a rest in, get some extra practice in, and we will see you all in the beautiful, beautiful twisty up and downs of Zandvoort for a super sprint weekend. That'll be 2 races for these drivers. Hamza Gulzar, he's going to be the winner here tonight for North America Red Split. Gentlemen, any closing comments before we head out for the evening?
I've wheezed my last. It's up to you, Ryan.
Ryan, what do you got? It's all on you, mate.
I'm just thinking how much rain we've ever had in our NA races, and then, like Jeff said, we've had so much tonight. So maybe
Hopefully
the
that's
rain
it.
for maybe the rain for tonight counts for like a season or two, you know.
There you go. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be nice and sunny at Zandvoort. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for us tonight. We'd like to thank you all so much for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed your stay. Make sure you like the stream here, subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date. If you haven't joined the Discord, you should. It's pretty probably one of the coolest sim racing Discords if you ask me. But my name is Nick Amon. On behalf of everybody here at the OOR, we'd like to thank you so much for stopping by, and we will see you in 2 weeks' time at Zandvoort.
Peace.
Good night.